We should be live.
Sweet.
Dusty, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm doing
Long time
great,
no
dude.
see.
Yeah, fuck, how long has it been?
Oh, God. Probably 5 years at least.
At least, right?
Yeah, I would say at least.
At
Minimum.
least. Both of us have gotten married.
Yep.
When did you get married? I know it was recent.
God, I can't remember the day even.
You're supposed to remember the exact day, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's May 2nd.
Jesus Christ. Right out of the gate, we're hitting home runs.
Yeah.
Let me pull up this monitor so I can just make sure I know what's going on here. Yep, okay. Looks like everything's working. We're doing the live stream for the first time today. So for the listeners who are confused if and why anything looks or seems different, that's fucking what. So when did you get married?
May 2nd.
May 2nd. Now, is that a significant date?
It was, actually.
Okay. And you still couldn't remember it?
No. I'm horrible.
Most of us are. That's why we get married.
Right, yeah. No, it's kind of like a joke in case my wife actually watches this.
Yeah.
Then she'll get mad like she does when I
Sure.
purposely forget things like that.
So why is it significant? Why May 2nd? Did she pick it?
The funny thing is like we met in like 2003 on May 2nd.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. And it was at a concert in Mankato. And I still have the ticket, the stub
shit.
from
Here, let me
that.
switch this for a second. Just get it like that.
From that day. And I don't know.
You met on May 2nd.
We met on May 2nd, and it just happened to roll around on a Saturday, the year,
Oh, I
we're gonna
gotcha.
get married, and
So it worked out perfectly.
yeah. So she was like, "Oh, it would be really cool to, get married 17 years later, And I was like, "Sure, that's cool."
So you've been with her for 17 years?
No.
Oh,
Like
Jesus Christ.
we've known each other for 17 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why it's significant, because you
Right.
still have the concert ticket from when you met.
From when we met.
Even though you
Yeah.
didn't date this entire time. So when did
No.
you guys start dating?
September, I want to say sometime in September 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you just got married then?
Yeah.
Okay.
When
Where'd
you know, man.
Where'd you get married? Did you get married local, or did you do a destination?
We wanted to have a micro wedding, but then all this Corona stuff happened. So we had a super micro wedding, like 10 people.
Sure.
And because May 2nd doesn't wind up on, Saturdays in the coming years for like, I don't know, however many years, we decided to go through with it, and we did it at Shell's Brewery in New Ulm.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
It was dope. We were gonna, oh shit, where were we gonna get married? I can't even remember. Yeah, but that's where it ended up being.
That's fucking cool as hell, dude.
Yeah. Oh, we were gonna do it in German Park in New Ulm. It's a really nice park.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
already.
know where German Park is. Kate's family's from New Ulm.
That's crazy.
We say they're from North Carolina because that's where Kate was born.
Sure.
She was born and raised in North Carolina, but both her parents are from New Ulm.
That's crazy.
And then they met in the Army and then raised the daughter down there. And
Sure.
then she ended up coming up here to go to school. So, like, ironically, full circle. Just
Yeah,
very
yeah.
strange.
New Ulm is
very
a
strange.
cool little town. I love it, actually.
When did they move that Shell's Brewery down there?
I thought it was always there, honestly.
What am I thinking then? Are they the ones that bought Grain Belt? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
They bought the Grain
I
Belt
think
Brewery?
so. Yeah. They make Grain Belt in New Ulm.
Yeah.
And there's another, I think it's called like Hounstein. I've never actually tried it, but
Right.
people in New Ulm go crazy for Grain Belt.
So fucking, you got stepkids now.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
That is the fucking weirdest thing.
I know.
Because I was the stepkid.
Oh yeah, how'd that go for you?
Not well.
That sucks, man. Yeah.
I mean, my current stepdad's cool, but
Right.
the first one, not so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fucking awkward.
Yeah.
Do you have issues? Do you have run-ins with fucking ex-baby daddy?
Oh yeah, yeah. He, we don't really see eye to eye, but
Don't fucking,
I don't think it's
don't fucking raise my kids.
right. Yeah, I don't. I do, but I don't. I let him do his own thing.
Yeah.
We don't really talk, so it's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do the kids like you? Do they listen and respect you and shit?
Yeah, they like me. They pretty much do whatever they want all the time, and being 9 and 13, how much do you listen to your regular parents, let alone your step parents?
That's got to be a rough
It
age.
is.
That's gotta be a rough
They don't
age.
say like you're not my dad and stuff like
Yet.
that. No,
Yet.
but at the same time, it's like.
But they will soon.
Yeah, I'm sure the days are coming.
Oh fuck! You're not my dad.
Yeah, you can't tell me what to do.
I'm pretty sure I said that.
Sure. Everybody says it. It's like.
I'm pretty sure I did.
I don't know.
So what else you been up to, man?
I don't know.
You're living in New Ulm. How'd you get in New Ulm? Is that where she's from?
That is where she lives. She's from a little town outside of that called Sleepy Eye.
Yep, I know Sleepy Eye.
Yeah.
I mean, we are talking like the bumfuck of Minnesota, halfway between here and Iowa.
Yeah.
There's nothing out there. That's why I think it's hilarious, because you and I fucking, when we met and became friends, we worked at Guitar Center 10 years ago.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been that long.
Technically,
I still talk to a lot of people that work there still. I talked
Me
to
too.
Wav actually yesterday morning.
No shit.
Yeah, dude. Wav is like my go-to fantasy football like advisor guy.
That's dope.
I stayed with him out in Wisconsin. He runs the Appleton.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
And I stayed with him out there, and we went to a Vikings and Packers game the day before Christmas, like the year.
That's cool
Rodgers
as hell.
got hurt.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah, it was.
I love Wav. Wav was an awesome dude.
Dude, Wav is the shit.
Everybody liked Wav too.
Dude, if you don't like Wav, I got a problem with you.
Right?
Like,
yeah, he's that
like
kind
if
of.
someone came up to me and said, I don't like Corey Wavenak, I might have to like do something about that.
Right.
I would be. That's insulting to me.
Right. Like how do you not like that dude? He's the coolest fucking. He's
Right?
cool shit, man.
Right.
Fuck. What were we talking about? I was going somewhere with that. Yeah, because we met when we worked at Guitar Center, and you said you still talk to Wav. Dude, fucking Kevin Sullivan's moving in with me. You know what I mean? He was the best man in my wedding. Like, I still talk to Nate every once in a while. Yeah, I still talk to him. I just talked to Muley the other day. Well, not the other day. It was actually a couple weeks ago now. But yeah, I still talk to a lot of those guys, dude. Like a lot of them.
I remember Bauman, or was it Bowman? Nate. Anyways, he was living in St. Louis Park at the time, and I was working for a construction company. We were building this like massive apartment building, like literally right across the street from his house, and this is right after I like stopped working for Guitar Center.
Hilarious.
And I was like, what are the odds? I was like, that truck looks just like Nate's, And all of a sudden I see him like walking out to his truck one day, and I was like, oh my God, I know that guy.
That's fucking funny,
literally
dude.
Built this eyesore of an apartment that probably blocked all the morning sun off
Right,
his,
right.
depreciated his property value.
Exactly. Every
So
reason
much.
he moved there has now been taken away by this gaudy apartment building. That's so fucking
bro.
funny, dude. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
I was getting paid though.
Yeah, no, I was getting paid.
Just doing my job, man. Just doing my job.
Yeah, just swinging this hammer here.
But yeah, it was fucking crazy because we both lived in Uptown, and we had like these wild party lives. We were both in bands.
Oh, fuck.
We lived in Uptown, which is like I don't want to say it's party central, but like if you were young, single, especially as musicians, like it was
The spot to be.
Yeah, and it's just wild that
It's like every night there's something going on.
we both fucking within 10 years we both ended up married, and we were the type of people that everyone was like, those guys will never get married.
Right.
Those guys will Dusty, Jared,
Some
will
people
never get
still
married.
can't believe it, Like,
yeah. I get the same shit. Yeah, people are weird, dude.
It is weird,
Oh, I don't believe it. I remember people saying they weren't going to believe it unless they were there to see it, and they thought it was a joke, and that's why we said we were getting married in Jamaica so that nobody could confirm it.
Yeah.
Because we weren't really getting married. And I'm like, fuck off, dude. That is so elaborate. Like,
yeah, because we're
I'm going to spend thousands of dollars to go to Jamaica to not get married, but pretend we're getting married. Like,
where did you go in Jamaica?
We got married in a grill.
Negril. Okay.
Yep.
When I went, I was it was on that's not where we went. What's the other place?
There's two other big places, like popular places. There's Ocho Rios and Montego Bay.
Montego Bay.
Mo Bay. Yeah, that place kind of sucks. Well, I mean, it could be dope because when we went, it was after spring break and before hurricane season, so it was really dead, which was great for Negril because you have access to everything. But if you're looking for like a vibe, you want things to be kind of busy, so then everything's still open and fucking
Oh, we went zip lining. We went to this waterfall place.
Yeah, a lot of that shit gets closed down during the
can
off
imagine.
season because they just don't make enough money. So like, yeah, a lot of that shit you just can't do.
Well, a lot of the people that live there and work there, if they're not in poverty, they work in the hospitality, you know. So it's like that's a lot of where their income is hospitality, you know.
Some of them motherfuckers down there though are doing better than we are. Like, just because they live in Jamaica it doesn't mean they're poor. Like, dude, trust me, some of those motherfuckers are driving nicer cars and dressed better than we are. Like, I'm like, how the fuck can you afford all this shit? And they're like, I hustle, man, I hustle. Just like we do. It's the same exact thing, dude. The smart ones figure out a way to fucking
year
hustle.
round, and we just got winter 6 months that really...
Right, and they not even year round. They have like 3 months on, 1 month off. 1 month off, 3 months on, 1 month off. So during that 3 months when it's like peak travel season, they fucking hit it hard and they don't dick around. They fucking hustle, dude. Yeah. And like you need a driver, you call him at 2 a.m, and he's like, okay, I'll be there. You call him at 7 a.m, you know, the next day.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I'll be there. You call him at 1 p.m. He's like, all right, I'll be there. It's like they don't sleep.
Yeah. Our driver that we had when we went down there, he was the same driver for everything we went and did outside of the resort that we stayed at.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just at our beckoning call whenever we wanted. Even
when did you go?
I went over New Year's in 2014.
Okay.
So when I lived in Uptown, I went.
Sure.
I went with my family. It was fun.
It's fucking cool. It's cool, dude. When did you go? Like, what time of year?
It is New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah, you just said that. Yeah. So it probably was pretty fucking busy then.
Oh, it was packed. Yeah.
Now that Mo Bay could be really cool. I could see Mo Bay being cool as fuck.
I mean, the majority of the time we were at the resort was huge. I want to say, what was it called?
There's so many of them. I can't.
Sandals?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice. There was like...
So you were on the beach then?
Yeah. I mean, there was a different bar every night we could go to, and it was only 18 and plus at this specific resort. You know, you had to at least be 18 years old to even go. You know, there was no kids there.
Yep. Yeah, we ran into that when we got married. My parents couldn't stay at our resort because Jackson was only 17, so he couldn't stay at the resort.
Jackson's your little brother?
Yeah, you remember Jackson.
I think so.
Yeah, you met him. And but at the time he was only 17, so he couldn't stay at the resort. So my parents couldn't stay at the resort. And then half our guests like super procrastinated to get their tickets. So when they went to go get, or not tickets, but reservations, when they went to go get reservations, they were booked up, right? And then a couple people were like, I just can't afford that shit, so I'm going to stay somewhere cheaper right down the road, and then I'll just meet up with you guys every day. So we ended up having this like fucking scattered chaos of a wedding, but it ended up being really cool because somehow we still ended up with like 15 people that came.
Yeah.
And this is 2 years ago, so this has nothing to do with COVID or anything. But 3 years ago, I can't. I can tell you I got married on April 20th, but I can't tell you what year it was and how long I've been married already.
I wonder why that's easy for you to remember.
It's my grandma's birthday.
Yeah.
It is.
Pretty sure that's like the Hitler's birthday too, and the Holocaust
Yep.
and all that great stuff.
Yeah, that's why it's fucked up because like it's my grandma's birthday, but the only reason I remember it's my grandma's birthday is because it's Hitler's birthday.
Yeah,
right.
It's my sister's birthday, so
like I can remember. I can remember my mom's, my grandma's, and one of my cousins because hers is 2 days after mine.
Wow.
Everyone else I can't remember their birthday except my wife now as well.
It's crazy. I remember, well, it's easy to remember my stepkids' birthdays because they're both on the 18th, you know, so if I can just remember what month it's in, you know, and my cousin who passed away last year, she was only 27.
Oh, damn.
I know, it's
how'd she pass?
You know, it was like a mold that she got in her lungs.
No fucking way.
No, it was an autoimmune type of.
I've heard of that shit. Yeah, dude, I've heard of that. Like, she was that black mold shit. Yeah,
black mold. She was an avid camper and always out in the woods and shit. And they think, you know, that's part of it. You know. Anyways, her birthday was February 18th. My stepson's birthday is February 18th. So I remember that. You know, and it's because my birthday's February 10th. So I always remembered hers too.
Right.
Because it was a week after mine or whatever. And because most of the a lot of birthdays in my family wind up in February. So every year we do this like
Because y'all bang the same time of year.
the bang cycle, dude. Yeah,
Yep, the bang cycle.
yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
We all do this like family February birthdays every single year. We don't do it for any other month just because there's
just
so
a little closer to you.
So many in
about 2-3 fingers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, better make it 3.
Well, and you can hear it too. It sounds better.
So we do this thing every February. None of the other months get it because there's not that many birthdays, or just one here and there. Right. But anyways, so the first time I took, my new family to this birthday thing for the February birthdays is like my cousin had passed away and wasn't able to make it, and my stepkid has the same fucking birthday. What are the odds?
Weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. But yeah.
So what are you doing for work now? You're not doing construction anymore?
I do commercial HVAC.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
probably make pretty decent money for that.
It's all right. It's
and it's not the hardest trade, like physically. It's not like physically demanding.
Every day is a little bit different, but it's not really that bad. No, I like it. I enjoy it. Yeah, it's super. After you do it a while, there's really not much to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you union?
I'm not. No.
Do you want to be?
I don't know. I like where I'm at now.
Yeah.
I started a little over 2 years ago when I moved, because I moved to Mankato first before me and Tracy got together. Then I moved to New Ulm. New Ulm's probably only 30 minutes away from Mankato.
Yep.
But yeah, I started there, and I really didn't know anything about HVAC. When I got there, I thought I was going to be installing like air conditioners and stuff, like no idea. I was like, yeah, I'm ready to try something new. I'm sick of working out in the cold in the winter, sick of working out in the hot in the summer,
Oh, dude, complete shift of gears, horrible interview tactic, bad transition. Do you want a beer, man? Oh yeah, let's do that too. Let's do that too.
Okay, what were you going to say?
Let's do that too. Do you remember when we came up with one of the coolest band names of all time?
Dude, was it the Slutty Butts?
No.
Oh, because that's been on my back burner for years.
But it's like a serious band name. And remember, we were jamming with
Oh, the Failsafe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a band now.
Yeah.
I know. Cease and desist, motherfucker.
Dude, and they're like doing well.
Good.
I'm a little butthurt because like it was supposed to be our band name, but then we didn't do anything with it. I have no right to be butthurt. It's just one of those things where I'm like, God damn it. Because like, remember almost as soon as we broke up.
Oh, I didn't even know we'd officially. I thought we just kind of quit practicing.
I don't know what happened.
I don't either.
I don't know what happened. I'm just saying.
I think Mark Berry moved to New York, and
we were a band for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like maybe a month. And
were you drumming? Yeah, that's right.
Yep. And then as soon as like it didn't work out, this other band popped up with the same name, and they've been going ever since.
Yeah, dude. I saw actually something about them.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, cheers.
Thanks for bringing the beers.
Yeah, no problem. It's like it's from Medelia, Minnesota. Just south of Lost Sanity Brewing. Just south of New Ulm there. Don't you know?
They should be able to read that on the camera. Nice. What is it?
It's an IPA, 7%.
You had me at IPA.
Yeah, I know. I remember that place in Northeast you used to brew beers.
Yeah, I actually just threw down on a bunch of fucking ingredients. Just had them delivered yesterday. I'm going to start brewing beer again.
Good.
Like hard. I'm going right back into the paint.
Extravaganza Extra Pale Ale.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do something. Because I did make it to the point where I was writing my own recipes. So yeah, I'll do something. I want to give a shout out to too. Every time I drink beer, I forget on the podcast. I forget to give a shout out to Zach Boyd from Cool Story Creative. You remember Johnny Rook, the band?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So the guitar player Zach started a woodworking company called Cool Story Creative, and he made these for me for the podcast. Last name? Boyd. Remember Josh Boyd? Or were you gone before Josh Boyd became the manager in Edina?
No,
it's ironically his brother.
Okay.
And then EV, he got a sponsorship with EV, so Zach's face is on the box of every EV mic that goes out. Or maybe it's a Sennheiser. I can't fucking remember. It's either an EV or a Sennheiser mic now. So you probably have seen him
Probably.
and met him even, because he would have come down and
Was he
shopped
like
at Guitar Center.
Oh, a shop or a rep or something?
No, he was just a musician, a successful musician from the scene. I had him on the podcast. He was a first guest. And
How many podcasts have you done? I'm sorry, I haven't.
You're number 22.
Really?
Yeah, you're
Cool.
number 22.
Emmett Smith, 22.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So about 2 months now. So I'm trying to do 2 or 3 a week.
Has anyone flopped on you yet?
Yes, several times.
Dude, that sucks.
Probably already half a dozen, if not a dozen.
Like the day of.
And when I say flop, let me not. I don't want anybody to think I'm throwing them under the bus.
Well, you haven't named
several
anybody.
reschedules.
Oh, gotcha.
And then some that I haven't rescheduled yet. And then there's a couple people who have canceled on me twice, and I was just like, all right, I'm not reaching out a third time then. Like if they're serious and they want to do it, you can reach out to me, but I'm not going to set a third date. And because it's exactly what you're saying, like they'll cancel the day of, or the night before.
Yep.
And then I got to throw out a random Facebook post like, anybody want to fucking come bail me out and do a last minute podcast? And one of my cousins, Nick, he's willing to do it almost every time, but I'm like, dude, I can't keep having the same guy on over and over again. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I need a new guest before
Right.
I have you on a third time and a fourth time.
Sure.
And which sucks, because now I think, maybe not, Nick, if you're watching this, give me a call. But I think he's a little sandy with me, because I was like, no, I'm going to try to get a new guest on tonight. And I don't think he took that well. I mean, maybe I'm misreading the situation, but it complicates shit, and it gets fucking annoying, dude.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm not complaining by any means at all, but it is literally one of those situations where booking the podcast takes more time and energy than actually doing it. And we have sometimes 4-hour conversations
I was pretty
on
easy
here.
though, right?
Sort of.
Dude, I didn't even hit you up today. I was like, oh, this nice little email. It's got your address and everything. Holy crap. I didn't even have to be like, oh, yo, dude, I just rolled out of bed. Where do I go?
No, is what was funny with you is what cracked me the fuck up.
Like, I got to ask my boss.
No, not even that, dude.
Ask my manager.
Everyone, I don't hold dates for people usually, right?
Yeah.
But I held this date for you because I knew that you had to check in with somebody else.
Sure.
And then I intentionally didn't fill it, and then you confirmed last minute. But
Right.
it worked out because
I confirmed on Tuesday.
if
but
you which is basically last minute, because I book them fucking almost a month out now already.
Oh,
You know,
really?
yeah, it started at book like the next week, and
I
then
guess
it was like I'd
about
book
a
2
month ago you asked me if I could
Yeah.
do it. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Yeah, and actually I started talking to you at the end of July about it.
Sure.
And we were trying to look at the end of August, and it just kept getting pushed back, and then we settled on this date.
Yeah.
Which again, not a big deal, but if it would have been anybody else and I would have filled the date, then it puts me in a precarious situation, because
Sure.
they went through all this effort to clear their schedule but never confirmed with me.
Right.
And then I went and filled that time slot. So now I got to fucking scramble and either see if it even makes sense to try to merge the 2 podcasts into one, which I'm just now capable of doing, like, with the infrastructure, you know, like having it all work properly.
Dude, your Mac will probably blow up if you add one more line.
No, I can do 4 now.
Oh.
I can do 4 total, and I'm never going to do more than 4. So that's cool. But no, I had to hook up a second interface to do it. Because, dude, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Can't you just get like a mixer, like a little like Mackie mixer, and mix them down into your...
That's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to get the Zoom L20.
Sure.
So then I can record a full-size band as well, whether I'm just doing demos or, like, maybe you put a new band together and you guys drop a single and you want to come fucking play on the podcast.
Sure.
I would theoretically be able to pull that off.
Crazy.
And then, yeah, that's exactly what I can do, is I can mix everything down into one.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. There we go.
There.
Thank God. Yeah, I can mix everything down into one channel on the Scarlett, and then it's a not an issue. So,
Or you could get a bigger Scarlett.
well, here's the problem: is I got the 4, but this streaming program will not accept lines 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. There's 8 inputs on it,
What
and
kind
it'll
of
only
streaming
take the
program? Is
first
this
2.
like the beta free shit, or
It's OBS. It's open source, but
Okay.
it's hands down the most legit one without spending money.
yeah. I don't
Almost all the people out there are using OBS, unless you're like Joe Rogan. They probably like spend some real money. They're getting like the TriCaster systems, like real broadcaster stuff.
Sure. You ever listen to Lead Singer Syndrome with Shane Told?
Is it a podcast?
Yeah.
No.
Have you ever heard of the band Silverstein?
Yes.
Okay, so their lead singer interviews other lead singers, and just about everybody who's anybody has been on this podcast.
No shit.
Yeah, you should check it out.
I will, for sure. Because lead singer syndrome is a very well-known thing. It's a real thing that happens.
He only interviews like vocalists for bands, even if it's like, a guitar player vocalist, he'll interview them too or whatever.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
They got to have pipes.
Dude, yeah. Yeah, he's done everybody. Like, I kind of caught up on all of them because I went through like a spurt at work where I was working alone and all I did was listening to podcasts all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, it's been great.
There was another question I wanted to ask you too, but I forgot what it was, so I'm just going to ask you something stupid. Have you been keeping up with like Misery Signals and Protest the Hero and that shit?
Yeah.
Or have you moved on and found new bands? Because I remember you were one of the guys who found Attila when they first came out,
dude.
And you were on this Attila
I turned you
kit.
onto that shit.
And by the time I got into it, you were like, that shit's last year, bro. You got to move on, man. You're fucking living in the past, bro.
Dude, yeah. No, I mean, it's just fast lived for me, that band. I still enjoy them live. They're super fucking dope, actually, and I guess he's had a bunch of allegations of like,
sexual assault.
Yeah, stupid shit. But what do you expect, dude? This dude has been like the same person.
His whole thing in the lyric of a song, it's like, I will find your fucking bitch and fuck her right in front of you.
Yeah, what did you think was going to happen? I literally sing about it. Yeah. Dude.
I'm the baddest motherfucker in the building. Yeah. He is the fucking, they're basically, if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, it's literally, it's like
the naughtiest shit.
It's rap style lyrics, but to metal.
Dude.
So in a metal voice.
There's probably multiple other bands, but one other one that's kind of like it is, have you ever heard of Dr. Acula? Like Dracula, but right. Dr. Acula? No. Dude, no. They do the same thing, and it's like even heavier,
Really?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean,
I'll have to check those guys out. Dr. Acula.
Yeah. No, the new Misery Signals, I heard the single they put out with the video. That was really cool. Right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, yeah, they did two singles. There's one called River King, and I can't remember what the other single was called. But then those were just pre-release. Those weren't really singles. They were pre-releases off of the album, early release, right?
Okay.
Because they dropped the whole album, and those two are on it. It's like the second. It's either like the first or second track, and then like the fourth track on the album.
Okay.
But yeah, dude, I was excited when that fucking shit popped up. I do that stupid... I do $15 a month for iTunes and for me and my wife. And then I get unlimited streaming, unlimited downloads, all that kind of shit. And then you can follow and subscribe to artists. So when they drop an album, it just shows up. I literally wake up and it's like, oh, so-and-so dropped an album today. Check it out now. When I press play and it just goes.
Right.
It's fucking the greatest thing ever, dude.
Right. It's like I didn't even have to like rip through
Yeah, I didn't have to go online. I didn't have to download
go
anything.
To whatever freaking Lamb Goat and then watch their embedded video to see it,
Right.
It's great.
Yeah, I didn't have to stand at fucking Target till midnight.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it showed up on my phone while I was sleeping. I woke up to new music. Like, dude, and I get so irritated when musicians are like, fucking streaming services, they're fucking us, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, here's the thing, dude, is like the record industry has never been about taking care of artists. Right? It's never been about that. The record industry is built on what's best for the consumer of music. So as a music fan, somebody who truly loves music, and I'm like a real fan of certain bands, it's better for me as a consumer. I understand it fucks me when it comes to making money. But here's the thing, dude, is back in the 60s, they didn't make a lot of money off fucking album sales either. Right. They made money off touring and concerts. And guess what will never be replaced? Live music.
I literally was listening to a podcast on the way here of Joe Rogan, and he was interviewing Tony Hawk. And Tony Hawk was like, yeah, when I started skateboarding, no one knew you could make money at making skateboarding,
right.
So he's literally like, it's just what I like to do. And then back in 91 when, vert skating wasn't very popular and all went to like street skating and park skating, you know, I thought my time was up, you know, but he just kept skating because that's what he loved to do. He was like, well, it was nice to make money while I did it. And then, you know, the video games and whatever happened.
Yep.
And
I remember that podcast. That's an old one. I
Yeah.
remember that. You were saying before the podcast, you were saying you just started listening to Joe Rogan.
Second one I ever listened to, was the Tony Hawk because I didn't know anybody else. I was scrolling through the names.
And you're listening to that today on the way here.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What the fuck got you into it finally? Because it's
I just found out it was on Spotify.
Oh, and you're a Spotify guy.
I'm a
Do you pay for Spotify?
I don't. No.
Okay, but you're a Spotify user.
Yeah, and it's like one long episode with no, you know, ads. You know, they don't have time to break for an ad. It's not like you listen to a 5-minute song. You got to listen to 4 minutes of the Home Depot theme.
He chooses to do that. So there are other podcasts that absolutely do mid-roll reads.
Oh.
Hundreds of them. It is like one of the most common things in podcasting. Joe chooses not to do it because he doesn't want to interrupt the guest and read live, and he doesn't want to interject with a pre-recorded commercial and break up the flow. Like, he doesn't want to do that to you. I mean, that's why I think a lot of people are drawn to his podcast as well.
The Lead Singer Syndrome.
They bust in and do mid-roll reads.
They do, yeah.
I fucking hate that. It drives me nuts. Even on some of my favorite podcasts,
well, the thing that it really annoys, usually, you know, I'll have the volume up to a certain volume for the podcast, you know, that's sounds good on my headphones. And then they roll in something that's super loud and I got to shuffle around, find my phone and turn it down.
Yep.
Then when that's over, I got to turn it back up. You know, It's like, there should be like a limiter, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's badly mixed. Yeah. There's a million. Yeah. Dude, I could go on for hours about that shit, but, you should check out, obviously with you being a musician, the James Hetfield one was kind of cool. Maynard James Keenan's been on there a few times. Those are kind of interesting.
Does he say yeah a lot?
I can't recall it standing out.
Okay.
I can't recall. Oh, you're talking about James Hetfield?
Yeah. Is he the one interviewing?
Yeah. I thought you were talking about Maynard James Keenan.
No,
James is really cool because it was just a chill interview.
He's the one interviewing though, right?
Joe's interviewing James Hetfield.
Oh, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I thought James Hetfield had an.
No, I'm talking about Rogan episodes. If you just stumbled into Rogan, you should start checking those. So Rogan was never on Spotify at all before that? I thought he was.
You know, maybe he was, and I just found out about it. So.
Yeah, because now he's got that exclusive deal. Fucking $100 million.
Yeah.
$100 million. What would you do with $100 million?
I don't know. Probably like 1/5 of what that Chiefs quarterback would do, you know?
You fuck. How insane is that, dude?
That's crazy. Dude, good for him.
$500 million.
Dude, he probably literally laughed all the way to the bank, you know? Like.
Well, and he's not getting all that at once.
No, but still.
But when you got a $500 million contract, $500 million, what is your bonus? What you know what I mean? Because there's like some of that's guaranteed. You get a lot of it up front. Like, what does that check look like? Like, damn, dude, that's got to be some crazy shit,
right? I mean, paid,
dude. No one in his they could literally put that money, $500 million, in the bank, right?
And
live off the sponsorships, right, for the next few years. And when he's done with that 10-year contract, that interest that will have accrued he'll have way more than $500 million already. And then they could live off the interest and still be multimillionaires for generations.
Yeah.
That's got to be the coolest fucking thing in the world.
He'll play 10 years and then maybe he'll just be done. He'll be like, hell, this. I don't know. In 10 years, I wonder how many rings he's going to have, you know?
I'll bet.
I bet at least 3.
I was going to say 3. I bet he'll have 3. Because I don't think they'll be able to keep championship teams together with that contract. It's just I mean, you see it happen with the Packers.
Oh, yeah.
You see it happen with everybody except for the Patriots. That's what made them so insane. Whether you think they're cheaters or not, I don't want to get into that.
Oh no, I don't. I'm not.
I'm even saying for the listeners, they'll eat me alive on it. Regardless of whether they're cheating or not, is what made it an anomaly is that they had a top paid quarterback and still manage to be that competitive year in and year out and win multiple Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like, people don't understand. The last time there was a team that won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years before the Patriots was in 1992, 3, and 5, the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
That's how fucking hard. We haven't even had a repeat Super Bowl champion in I don't even know how long. I think it was the Patriots.
We've had repeat Super Bowl teams, but not champions. No,
right? Yeah, because the Seahawks went back to back, but they lost.
Packers went back to back in like
Yep.
96 and 90.
Yep.
But yeah,
Speaking of, you must have felt pretty good about the Vikings getting whooped.
I mean, I didn't bet on the game.
But you know Aaron Rodgers is soft, so it had to feel good knowing that if you just don't hit him, that you guys can win a lot of games again this year. Because you know he's soft.
Triggered. Yeah, I guess.
Admit Aaron Rodgers is soft on the air.
I'm not going to admit that.
You know he's soft because you had Brett Favre just like we did.
Why do you think they drafted a quarterback instead of a freaking receiver that they could have used?
Right.
Man, telling you.
And he's just kind of a bitch. Like, he's kind of a bratty little cunt. You know?
I'm sure you said that about Brett Favre before he came over here.
No, here's the thing is I hated Brett Favre when he was a Packer, but I always respected him.
Sure.
Always respected
Everybody
him.
respected
And when
Brett
people
Favre.
were like, oh, he's getting old, he's washed up, he's done, I was like, no, he's not. Do not doubt that motherfucker, because the moment you don't respect Brett Favre is when he throws 4 touchdowns and 300 yards on you.
Yeah.
And he did it, and people were like, he's got 2 years left tops. I was like, dude's got at least 5, 6, 7 years left. And sure as shit, he was in fucking Green Bay for 3 more seasons, then 1 in over in fucking New York, and then came here for 2 seasons. It's like, he was an Iron Man, a true Iron Man.
Yeah, he played a football game the day his dad died or something.
And crushed it.
And crushed it.
I think 4 touchdowns he threw. That was the Raiders. He played the Raiders in that game.
I can't even remember.
I think they played
threw like 6 touchdowns or something.
It was at least 4.
I think it was. I don't know. I don't remember.
It was at least. It was a lot. It was insane.
He had a great game. Yeah,
It was
like
insane.
a career game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one of the greatest single quarterback games of all time. Like, if you look at, because I think not only did he throw an insane amount of touchdowns, I think it was also like 4 incompletions the entire game. Like, something absurd. And I'm probably punching those numbers up and down to make it sound more dramatic, but
I should have looked into that before. Like, if I knew what we were talking about, I would have.
I could just look it up now, dude.
Yeah, you can use the internet and it won't freeze the podcast. How much CPU do you got right now?
It shouldn't freeze the podcast.
Shouldn't.
Correct. We might have glitched it a little bit right there. I'll see it over here if it did anything. We'll see here.
What do you think of the beer, man?
Oh, very good.
Good. Glad I brought it.
Yeah, it did glitch a little bit, but I think it's coming back here. Yeah, it looks fine. Brett Favre Raiders stats. Dead dad.
God damn it. You know you're going to hell. Right? That was one day after his father died.
Oh, fuck. That's funny, man. Yeah, so 399 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Oh, it was 4. Okay, you're right.
41-7. And let's see.
Did you ever listen to his Hall of Fame speech, too?
Yeah.
God, if that didn't make a grown man cry, I don't know what would.
Let's see. I want to know which one of these I should pick. Probably, no. Let's just do this one. Oh, I just want to see if they have his actual stats for the game. 22 for 30. So 8 incompletions the entire game. That's what it was. 399 yards, 4 touchdowns. And I believe he ended up with a perfect passer rating. And I know that one's kind of bullshit. Now we use total QBR. But I seriously do. I think it was 158.3 or whatever a perfect passer rating is.
Who is now the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
What's the dude?
He looks like Chucky.
Between him and the owner, it's the 2 ugliest people in football.
I wonder if the same person cuts both of their hair.
I think they do.
That's crazy.
I think Mark Davis cuts both their hair.
Maybe Tiki Barber does it.
No. There's no way any black people are that bad at cutting hair.
Yeah. Even if they've never cut hair
right,
before.
never once.
Yeah, it's kind of like dancing, like.
That's fucking hilarious. I got a buddy who wants to come back on. He was on before. He's a black dude. His name's Anwar, and he's getting so sick of the racism shit.
Oh man.
And I'm like, dude, I mean, we can do this, but you have to go off about all this shit. Because if I go off of it, even though I'm Jewish, it's not going to sound good.
Dude. Yeah. Yeah. Try living in a small town in between here and Iowa.
You probably deal with actual racists. And they're probably not even very tight-lipped about it. They're probably pretty open about it.
No, they're super open about it.
And they're probably dropping hard N-bombs on the regular, I bet. If I had to put money on it.
Not that I've heard, but you don't have to drop an N-bomb to be racist,
Very true. Very true. Very, very true.
Right. I mean.
Yeah, just say they're all really good at dancing.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking.
That was a compliment. All right.
But it is a generalization.
Sure.
Which some black people will be like, yeah, no, that's true. We're totally better at dancing than you guys. And then other black people will be like, nope, that's not true. I know a lot of black people with no rhythm. And it's like, okay, but the best dancers are usually black, right? Like,
I guess
let's
I
just
didn't
be
really
honest
look
at
into
it.
No,
but I mean, we all have these perceptions.
Sure.
And fucking Tom Segura has the fucking.
I'm clumsy as hell. I had to work to establish rhythm. I'm a musician that had to work to be a musician. You know what I mean?
And I think stereotypes can be racist when they're used maliciously.
Yes.
But they do exist. Stereotypes exist for a reason. Like Tom Segura's got this bit about like, is anybody really going to stand there and say that they don't take longer to cross the street than white people?
Because they never noticed.
Because they fucking do. They walk at the slowest spots. He's got a whole joke about it. He's like, I'm just saying, if you lined up all the races, and it's a foot race, it's not a running race, and the race is just normal people crossing the street. Just saying. Black dude's probably going to be last. And it's fucking true. I live in the city. Anytime you see a white person cross the street, they start jogging. You know what I'm talking about? They're walking and then they're walking at a normal pace, and then they turn and look at you and you make eye contact with it, and then they do this like fake run, like this little hustle walk. You know what I'm talking about? Because all white people do this. They all fucking do it. Like, oh, I'm gonna
start not doing that now.
Right, walk as slow as you can, dude. Because I live in the hood, and my favorite one, because I see people get mad at it, and it cracks me up, is when the black dude's walking across the street as slow as he can and eating Chinese food out of a styrofoam takeout tray.
That happens all the time.
All the time.
What, you guys got a cool Chinese restaurant around here?
Yeah. There's a few of these corner stores that have little, like not restaurants, but like
a little section where they sell.
Yeah, and like, I mean, fuck this one up here. E&L, you can go get. Well, dude doesn't work there anymore. He had his own business and he bailed out during the riots. The riots freaked him out. So their grill is shut down right now because it was its own business inside of the community.
Did you get a whole lot of that over in this neighborhood? Or
what's that? During the riots?
Yeah.
So, no. To be perfectly honest, no. And in fact, it was quite the opposite. In this neighborhood, during the riots, everybody, and I mean everybody, in this neighborhood saw someone was trying to start a race war. We don't know who they is.
Right.
We don't know if it's our government, the Chinese government, the Russian government, online internet trolls, boogalooers, Antifa, white supremacists. We don't know. Maybe it's probably a combination of all of those groups.
Sure.
But we could tell and openly talked with each other, somebody is trying to start a race war, and we ain't going to make it through that. So we got to band together as a community because we were being terrorized during all of that. Like, we had some really shady shit go down in the neighborhood during the riots. So the community as a whole banded together, and then me specifically, I actually earned a ton of respect from not only the neighbors, but the entire block and even the entire neighborhood. Like now there's people that know about me and know who I am, like 2 or 3 blocks away, people I've never met. Like they'll roll by and they'll be like, "Oh, dude, you're white boy. I heard about you. Yeah, you're cool as fuck, man. Anybody fucks with you, let me know. I live right here. Here's my address." And it's like, okay. You know what I mean? But they heard because
I'll take your name and number. You got a card?
Yeah, basically, because everybody around here's got an auntie or an uncle right around the corner, right. And so word spread, and they were like, "No, white dude's on our side. Like he's cool as fuck." And I kept having to tell them like, "You guys call me white boy, but like I'm Jewish," and they're like, "Whatever, white boy."
Do you remember when?
Whatever, white boy.
You remember when Mark Berry lived around here?
Yeah.
God, he didn't live too far from here. I want to say it was.
I want to say it was like 28th and Newton.
You're right. It was Newton. Yep.
I think it was 28th and Newton or 38th and Newton.
When you go down Dowling, you take a left where there's like that open area. I think it's like a cemetery or something. You take a left. Yeah.
Yep. There's like a park and a cemetery off to the side. Yep. I know exactly. And I think it was off Newton, so it's a little bit farther down there. Right, yeah, they go in alphabetical order. So
yeah.
Let's not say the name of my street on the podcast, but we can say
I'll forward you the email.
We can say Mark's old street.
Yeah.
But I think he was on like 38th and Newton, which isn't too far from here.
No, that
not at all.
I haven't been in this neighborhood since the days when he lived over there. So yeah, it's been a while.
It's a lot better neighborhood now.
Yeah.
Lot better, dude. Like a lot better. Like our block dramatically has gotten better in the 2-3 years we've lived here because the people across the street, even though it's a rental property, they lived there and owned it. And so they took care of their shit. And then we bought this house and we take care of our shit. And then the guy 2 houses up from me takes care of his shit. And then the house next door to us just sold. So now there's 3 in a row that all take care of their shit. And there's more and more people actually coming in and like buying a house so they can live in it in this neighborhood. So when that starts happening and people start taking care of their own properties, it dramatically brings up the quality of the neighborhood, even the people in the neighborhood. So like the last 2 summers, we had major issues with the neighbors' guests coming over and opening their doors and just chucking garbage into my front lawn. This summer, not an issue. That's a twofold effect, right? It's one, they know me and respect me now, so even they're like, do not throw your garbage in that dude's yard. But number 2, the neighborhood's getting better, so there's less shitty people coming to visit. Because really, the neighbors and the people that live here are all good people. Whenever we have trouble on the block, it's people who come to visit.
Sure.
It's never the people who live here.
Yeah.
Ever. Seriously. It's hard to understand. It's hard to explain, but like, I guarantee you, they're not from this neighborhood. They're not even from 6 blocks away is what I'm saying. They're from like Brooklyn Park, or they're from South Side, or they're from Chicago, and they come up here and they hang out with fucking people, and they fucking a lot of underage drinking, and then they get some firearms. It's always kids too. It's always dudes under the age of 30. Like it's never a 35-year-old grown ass man out here causing a problem.
No.
It's always some 19, 24-year-old kid fucking talking shit, trying to impress some girl. A little too much booze.
We've all been there, right?
We have. The only difference is where
I think that maybe that was the last time I saw you.
Where
know,
we
like
grew up,
when we were 25, living in Uptown.
But it's so wild because when we grew up in those exact situations, we didn't shoot each other. We got in fist fights, and then when we were done, we were best friends.
Right.
Like the fist fight ended the problem. Here, the fist fight escalates the problem. Here in the city culture, the fist fight, whoever loses that fist fight 50% of the time comes back with a gun and shoots a bunch of people. That's the difference. And it's like, fuck, man. Kate and I are nervous about having a kid in the neighborhood. That's the only thing. Like, we're cool. We don't get fucked with. People like us. We're part of the community. We're part of the family. But I don't know if I would want to raise a kid in this environment because of the complex nature of the decisions they have to make on the regular basis. Sure. Like, you could just be hanging out with your buddies playing video games, but your buddy pissed somebody off 2 nights ago, and now you die in a drive-by because you're sitting there playing fucking Madden football on his couch. Like, that's a realistic thing that can happen in this neighborhood.
It's crazy.
That freaks me out. That's what fucking freaks me out. So personally, we're good. We've never had to deal with any of that shit.
No.
Not at all. Not at all. The question is how freaked out are people down in your neck of the woods?
Oh,
Because they have no fucking idea what's actually happening in the city,
I know.
for better or
They
for
think
worse.
they do. Yeah.
But you got to be hearing all the right winger shit down there.
Oh,
Fucking
yeah.
commies, goddamn liberals, fucking taking over the government, fucking goddamn liberals are turning everybody gay. There's a liberal Nazi agenda to make everyone a homosexual.
Dude, it's
And believe it or not, there are people in southern Minnesota that sound exactly like that with that accent. They've never been out of the state of Minnesota, but they talk like they have a southern accent. I'm telling you, those goddamn liberals. It's this weird pocket of southern Minnesota where it's like they got imported, they got teleported from Oklahoma. Those goddamn liberals and the homosexuals. You know what I'm talking about, dude.
I do, and it's
like, dude, you've never been to the South. Why do you have a southern accent?
It's bad.
Because
No,
this is Newell. No, they don't talk like that in Newell.
they don't, but
No.
they talk regular like that. Yeah.
Dude, northern Iowa.
Where I'm from,
random places in Iowa, all of a sudden motherfuckers just have southern accents. Like an entire town just has a southern accent in Iowa.
I guess I never noticed that, but
Probably because you grew up there, because I noticed it every time I went down there.
sure.
Every time I went down there. Like you get into southern Iowa and they're fucking even, So
Yeah.
I mentioned northern Iowa, but you get down to southern Iowa and they're fucking, y'all talk goofy. And I'm like, no, you talk like a weirdo. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, y'all sound like you're from Canada. And I'm like, you sound like you're from Louisiana, motherfucker. Like,
I've got relatives in northern Missouri and in Georgia, so and even the difference between the way the Missouri people, my Missouri family talks, and like the Georgia family talks is just like, man, I thought the people from Missouri talk slow, and then the people in Georgia, it's like you're waiting, like it's like they just talk really slow. You know, they're in no hurry whatsoever.
yeah. And the craziest part is like, not all Southerners talk slow, but there's entire regions where they all talk slow.
Yeah.
So you get into certain parts of Florida, they like the northern panhandle, Florida into Georgia, that kind of shit. Like I knew this family from Tallahassee, and they had this whole accent. I mean, it was just absolutely over the top. It was like Zach Galifianakis, you know. It was like, oh, well, what y'all doing down here? And it was like the weirdest version of any Southern accent I'd ever heard. And it was like a cross between like the Georgia, the Alabama, the fucking Florida. It's just a wild ride. And they talk really fast. I mean, like, what are you even talking about right now? Why would you even act like that? I mean, you're being absurd. You know, it's like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, it's so fucking weird, dude.
It is weird.
The weirdest one, though, is the Minnesota shit. Those are the weirdest accents, dude. Because it's so...
Growing up in the Midwest, it's like I really only hear Southern when it's like a thick.
Can you tell
Southern draw.
can you tell the difference between a Chicago accent, a Milwaukee accent, a Wisconsin accent, and a Minnesota accent?
Now, being from Iowa, it's just kind of no. It's kind of like we get all of that in Iowa. Except
That's what I was. Yeah.
You know, it's like there's no. It's like I think, yeah, he might talk a little different, but it's not to the point where it's like, man.
Like Minnesota has a really folky. Like, oh yeah, the snow's gonna be deep this year. Better get your plows ready.
You ever watched?
You want to go to the bar after this? Let's go have some beers at the bar.
The guy that does the Manitowoc.
Yeah.
Minute,
Now he does a great Chicago one because they hit everything harder. The brats. You know, on the grill. It's a lot of duh. Yeah, duh. Which
you got
shifts,
a battery.
Yeah, which shifts into the fucking Chicago, but the Chicago's more like Chicago. You know, it's more like almost New Yorker, but with a Midwest accent.
The people I know from
there's
Chicago,
so many subtle
they talk
differences.
like they're like gangsters. You know, like.
I'm talking
like
classic Chicago accent,
okay.
Like Chicago white boy accent, like
sure.
oh da bears, you know that old fucking SNL skit, shit
sure.
like that, you know.
Sure.
Fucking let's go get that's more Wisconsin. It's like Chicago's da fucking White Sox. Let's go get a fucking dog, eh? Like they'll still drop A's in there every once in a while, but it's different from even like it's weird because the Wisconsin accent's like in between a Minnesota and a Chicago accent. That's the biggest difference. And then Milwaukee is just a harder version of a Wisconsin accent, but not all the way towards Chicago. But they're fucking weird, man, the way people say shit, dude. Like you said, "Ope." That's the biggest. That's the most Minnesotan thing you can say.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Like that's what all Minnesotans say when they almost run into someone else. Oh.
Or when they're sneaking by somebody.
Oh, coming your way.
I don't know.
Did you say you have a hard out? You have to get out of here at a certain time?
Like 5-ish.
Oh, okay. So we got plenty of time. Okay, yeah. Because we've been going about an hour already.
Really?
Yeah. Feels like 15 minutes.
Right. Yeah. Where the hell are you working now? Or you just do this full time?
Yeah, I'm not working anymore.
Really?
Yep, just trying to do the music, the podcast. I was going to be doing stand up, but that kind of fell out,
Yeah.
Because of COVID,
Sure.
So
Well, you could do like podcast stand up.
Nah, I'm not doing that.
No.
It's cheesy. The only new comic I've seen doing anything cool is dude I know. His name's John Wheeler. He's going to be coming on the podcast. He's doing...
The dude from like Screaming Monkey Boner?
Yes, that's exactly who I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah, I know John is.
That's
I
exactly
played with
who I'm
SMB.
talking. Yep.
The Mechanical Brain. And I played with his new project. What's it called?
He's been in a few of them. So, new project is...
Right, no, the... I digress. I forget.
He started a thing called
The fuck was it?
The Alchemical Lounge is what the channel's called.
Okay,
and then he's got like 3 or 4 different shows that he's going to be doing on there, and they're shows. I'm using that word loosely, but they're shows. They're shows.
He's been doing a lot of video stuff though.
That's what I'm getting at, and he's doing like a stand-up thing called I think it's Overdressed and Underserved. And it's basically it's like a pre-recorded stand-up bit, almost like a night show monologue.
My Zero, that's what it is.
My Zero.
Yes,
that sounds right. That sounds familiar.
Yep.
So yeah, he's the only one I've seen trying to do comedy in a new format while trying to adapt to a COVID world. And that doesn't. I'm not trying to put words in John's mouth. He's going to be on the podcast. I'll let him try to describe it himself, but. I've seen the fucking open mics on Zoom. I've seen the online thing where people are trying to like do a stand-up bit, live, and it's like, dude, this isn't the right vibe. So if you're gonna do anything, Andrew Schultz is doing a great job. I don't know if you know who that is.
Nope.
He basically does like 8-minute versions of the John Oliver show.
A long period of time, 8 minutes, right?
No, because he's basically taken like a half-hour version of John Oliver, but bringing it down to 8 minutes. And so you watch it right on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatever. I think he's killing it because they're editing them or they're speed rants. So there's none of those awkward pauses where a punchline is supposed to be. Right? So like, that's what I'm trying to explain is some of these comics are fucking, dude, they'll do this fucking podcast thing or this stand-up comedy thing online. And they stand there and they deliver a joke, and then the way it's done is they let that punchline ride for a second to where people can laugh.
Sure.
But there's no laughter.
Right.
So it's just awkward. It's just bad. And then they're trying to do this in the same format, which is open mics. So then like some of them are trying to let the other comics in the Zoom call laugh. So there is some laughter, but now there's a monster delay. So basically what John is doing is he delivers his punchline, edits out, hits his next joke, hits the punchline, edits out. So there's like cuts.
Sure.
Right? He just puts the whole thing together. And then Schultz is doing like a John Oliver thing. There's no editing, but it's like speed ranting. So he'll hit you with punchline, just trusting that you're going to get it and you're going to laugh. And if not, I got another punchline coming up in another 10 seconds. So don't worry about it. Here goes that one. And those are the only 2 that I think are really doing something from a comedy side online that actually seems to be working. And I'm not trying to steal John's ideas, and I don't want to do that. And I'm definitely not doing what Schultze's doing either. It's just too much work. It's too much editing. It's too much writing. It's too much planning. Like,
Sure.
I'm a live performer. I'll do the stand-up thing when it comes back around. And sadly, I can't seem to get up anywhere either. That was another big problem. So I said, fuck it, dude. You know what I'm going to do is, worst comes to worst, I'll just start emceeing my own music shows again, and I'll work out my material there. And then I'll try to get other comics to come do that.
Yeah.
And then build relationship with them. And then maybe I can go do 3 to 5 minutes opening for them one night. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because how many times do we change over in a night? At least 2 or 3, depending on if you have 3 or 4 bands, right?
Yeah.
And there's 10 to 20 minutes you got to kill.
Dude, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So if there's 4 bands, there's 3 changeovers at 20 minutes apiece. That's 60 minutes. If I can go up there and die on stage and bomb for 60 minutes a night, 2-3 times a week, I can probably sift out 3 to 5 minutes worth of workable material and go open for like a local decent comic, even if I'm not getting paid.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not worried about it. I got a plan. I'll get there. But yeah, I haven't fucking been working for a while now.
Really?
I'm done, dude. I can't do it anymore, dude. I've worked too hard in too many industries to work my way up, including the music business. And then because of somebody else's actions, it gets taken from me. And this time it was COVID. My boss didn't fuck up and mismanage her business.
Yep.
I didn't fuck up and lose my job. The government shut down the industry. And I was already on the verge of doing all this shit anyways. So I just took it as a sign.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, fuck it then.
Yeah, I'm laid off right now too. So
yeah,
I'm like, hey,
dude, it's horrible for me because I was making good fucking money.
Yeah.
And, you know, the unemployment's running out. The fucking extra stimulus money's gone already. You know what dude, if you're unemployed, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Literally started this week. But
for you?
Yeah. We were working, all the work was in the schools. You know, when COVID hit and they didn't have school, we had to do all this school work, you know. So we were redoing a bunch of duct work and stuff in the schools. And now that school's back in, you know, that well ran dry and, well, there's no jobs now on the books.
Yeah, I suppose because you're doing commercial HVAC and everybody's moving out of the city, which is where all the new construction was as well.
Well, not only that, but I don't think people are worried about upgrading their HVAC right now.
Dude, you might want to fucking help me out. I'll fucking pay you some side cash, dude, because I want to replace a lot of this duct work and do it right. Like some of this shit here, I want to reroute to the side.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things I want to do down here. And I know it's not very complicated. And if we do it, the material's not even very expensive.
No.
Like it's all labor and profit.
Yeah.
Because my mom works for an HVAC company.
You can reuse a lot of the stuff you already have.
Right. You're just cutting and putting in junctions and shit, and then you can rerun it.
Different spots.
Yeah, I'd love to do that because these, especially those up there, those are fucking asbestos. Right? And it pisses me off because they're old, they're shitty, and they're not even in a very good spot. Like, I want that duct to be up in the rafters.
Sure.
Which is not insane.
No.
Like, look, they did it right there. If they can do it right there, why didn't they do it right there?
Well, that's a return air right there. That's
you're right. That is return.
Yeah.
That is return.
Yeah. They did that a lot.
Very experienced, my boy.
No, I don't do residential, man. I know that's return, though, because I asked the same question to my boss. I was like, hey, in my basement, you know, they just walled off the bottom side of the, you know, floor joist, and they did that. And like, oh, that's return air. They did that all the time back in the day. And I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. Because I'm doing everything else in the house. I'm doing electrical. I've done plumbing. Like, most of this plumbing you see here, like that copper pipe right there, I ran all of that.
Nice.
There was no working plumbing here, and then I had to tee it off and run outside. And I want to move all the duct work because if I move the duct work in different spots, I could potentially like actually finish the basement properly.
Right.
And then it'd be really nice down here. It'd be warmer. It'd be more cozy. It'd sound better. I mean, everything about it would become less of an issue. Because right now, if you tried to frame around all this shit, dude.
Yeah, you'd be knocking your head on it.
It's fucking the worst, man. It's the fucking worst. So, you're going to jam with some cats after this.
Yeah,
so
I got a new
trying
project.
to get back into music?
Yeah, I took like a year off. And I really, honestly, I didn't practice for like. I had a bunch of material written that I wanted to do, and then it kind of all came to an end one day. I won't really go into why, but I don't know. I've had, I don't know, 6 or 7 songs on the back burner, just guitar written, and I just don't know if I have it in me to like be the guitar player in a band anymore, to be one of the primary writers. I mean, so I'm thinking about I'm going back to bass for this band. I've got like,
Who are you jamming with?
do you know Joey? You remember Joey
Joey, yeah, I remember.
Gonzalez and my buddy Jake.
Okay.
He was the merch guy for Common Choir.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever actually seen Common Choir.
Yeah, we were a band for like 3 years.
Yeah, I was too busy working on the house. Seriously,
That's
like
fine.
when we first bought the house, dude, it was.
I remember you hitting me up, be like, "Hey, I'm gonna try to come." And I was like, "Cool, dude. Yeah, show up."
Yeah, and then my next message was probably like, "I need you to call me the day of the show and remind me because I will forget." And then you probably forgot to remind me, and so I forgot the show was going down.
Yeah, I need to get one of those fancy little.
Which, by the way, if in case anybody's listening to me, they need to understand. I completely agree that it is unreasonable for me to call members of their band and be like, "Hey, I want to come to your show." I need you to go out of your way to remember that I want to come to your show, and I need you to call me to tell me it's happening, and then put me on the guest list and give me a backstage pass because I'm not fucking hanging out with the fucking the large crowd and fucking drunk
Don't
chicks.
make me hang out with the other
with the peasants,
civilians,
the peasants. No, I just here's what it is. Especially now that I'm married, I never liked large crowds at all, and I'm there to see your band and hang out with you.
Right.
I'm not there to socialize and mingle and get hit on or fucking deal with some drunk chick or fucking run into somebody I haven't seen in years and spend your entire set in a conversation. You know what I'm getting at? Like,
I do.
I want to come backstage. I want to hang out by the side of the stage. I want to get the best sound in the room, which is always right there. If you ever notice, there's this weird coincidence. It's always next to the stage is the best sound.
Sure.
That's where I want to be.
I know exactly what it's like. I mean, being in a band where you gotta like try to sell tickets sometimes, and you sell a bunch of tickets to people, and then they come to your show, and then it's like everybody wants to like sit. Everyone who bought a ticket wants to sit and talk to you, and they want to buy you a beer, and you haven't even played yet, and you're half in the bag, and you're like, I gotta go get some air. I gotta perform a little bit. I don't want you guys to think we suck. Maybe after. And then even when it's after, it's like, especially if you bring your girl to the show, she's like, you haven't even talked to me and you're not, it's like, well, I'm getting pulled in all these different directions. I was just trying to walk to the bathroom. I ran past 5 people who wanted to say hi to me.
Yeah, I told my wife, just don't come.
Yeah.
Like literally, she's seen me perform on stage once or twice now since we've been married. And the only reason she came is because she hadn't ever seen me. Like, we had already been married before she ever seen me perform on stage. It was very ironic, right? And I told her, I said, number one, if you are going to come.
Was that in Spring Lake Park that one time?
Probably.
Yeah, I think I might have met her that day.
Probably. And because I performed 3 or 4 times since we've been together, but I think she was only able to make it once. Especially because all the other times, when I'm saying 3 or 4 times, I'm saying locally. So I filled in for somebody. I fucking did something.
Yeah. And
she's never been able to make it, and I think she made it maybe twice. Definitely once, maybe twice. But all the other times it was like out of state and shit. And we got a whole life. Like both of us can't just fucking bail on a whim. Like somebody's got to be home to do shit. So
totally,
I go out, I do my job, I come fucking home. But I even told her, I said, if you do come to shows, don't be the girlfriend/wife that stands in the front row and is trying to be like supportive and be a fan and like headbang and like don't do that. Don't go sit in the back of the room.
Creeper's aisle. Go
sit in the back of the room with the other musicians, right? Like, because there's 2 places the musicians usually hang out. Usually, it's either behind or side stage,
or in the parking lot,
or in the very, very back of the room, because it's the most chill all the way back there. There's nobody looking back there. Like, that's where you'll catch, like, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. If you're going to a local show And if there's a celebrity there that night, that's where they're going to be. This is how it's done in Minneapolis, is they literally sit in the back of the room.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
And that is exactly what happens.
Yep, that's exactly what happens, because nobody's looking that way.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking at the stage. So they can sit there all night long and nobody has any idea who they are or why they're there.
They're just checking out other bands. You know? They don't want to talk about their band. They're there to check out other people.
And so I told my wife that. I'm like, that's where you go. Like, go sit way in back with the fucking, not necessarily famous people. Sometimes it is a genuine celebrity famous person, but it's like the other band members who are like the vets. That's what I should call them, is the vets. Because they're burnt out on listening to opening bands. Like, they're not going to patronize the opening band by standing up there and fucking playing, or, you know, in front of the stage and pretending they're fucking really into it, and vice versa. Like, even the opening bands sometimes are vets, and they know, like, I know these fucking guys. I don't have to stand up there and pretend I'm fucking super into this. Like, like, we're all fucking close buddies here. They're exhausted. Yeah. And like, same thing. Single dude, vet, had a great set, played right before us. When he wants to like talk to a girl instead of just like be in the crowd, he takes her all the way to the back of the venue, and that's because that's where it's also quietest and most chill, and they can actually sit back there and have a drink and talk and still watch the show. So that's
all
the
about
secret.
how you want to enjoy yourself. If you want to get lost in the music, go up front. There's some people around. If you want to have a chill night, have a couple of drinks and just enjoy, you know, how tight a band is without all the, you know, distortion. I mean, with all the.
And just in case anybody thinks I'm contradicting myself, is what I'm saying is that if I go by myself, I want to stand next to the stage, usually next to the stage, because that's where the best sound is. But if I go to somebody else's show with my wife, we sit in the very back of the room.
Sure.
Because I'm not there to mingle. I'm not there to talk to anybody. I'm there to see you watch your band.
Yeah.
And then is what'll happen. Excuse me. Somebody will always run into us back there. Somebody we know. Lately, it's been somebody my wife even knows now, because we've been together fucking 5, 6, 7 years now, it seems like. And 5 or 6 years, I think. And then I know, like, okay, I can leave her with them, and I'll tell her I'll be right back. And then is what I'll do is I'll sneak backstage. I'll say, hi, what's up to you guys? We'll fucking hang out. Maybe I'll buy you a beer. I'll hang out for a half hour, 45 minutes, because she gets it.
Right.
The point I was trying to make is, like, if you are going to come to one of my shows, don't stand in front and be that groupie girlfriend / wife. Don't do that. That's embarrassing to me.
Yep.
And it's not a good look for the adult women. You know, if you're 19, it's a different story.
I miss shows.
If you're 19 and listening to this, ignore everything I'm saying.
Makes me miss shows, you know, like.
Dude, don't even get me started on how much I miss playing live, dude.
I just miss watching live.
Have I sent you any of the new music that I've been working on?
Dude, is it like a cover of Van Halen or something?
I am doing 2 Van Halen covers, so I probably sent you that one. I think
it was you, actually, who's like, man, I wish Van Halen would have done, you know, the best of both worlds and had both vocalists in it.
No,
was that you?
No way.
Oh, who said that to me? And I was like, I bet that was Jerk Kid. You know the song Best of Both Worlds?
No.
You've never heard that song? You better cue it up.
Oh, you got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's a
it's a Sammy Hagar tune.
Right, I swear it was you saying they should have done David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar. That would have been so cool.
Maybe on a tour.
Yeah.
Maybe on a tour it had been cool. But not in the band at the same time. Fuck that. That would have been horrible. They're 2 different bands. That's why people call it Van Hagar, because it's not even the same band. They literally played in different tuning. Like, anytime Sammy Hagar was in the band, they played in standard.
It's a different vocalist, yeah.
But literally, Eddie played in standard when standard tuning when Hagar was in the band, and when Roth was in the band, he played in drop E flat. So basically drop D, but up half a step.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And fill you up.
Yeah. And that's why I get frustrated when people try to make those. It's like, dude, it's literally which one's better. They're different bands. Stop comparing them. You can say which one you like more, but it's like comparing Megadeth and Metallica. Which one's better? They're different bands. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even fair to compare them. Unless you're just talking about which one you like more. But if you're going to try to say which one's better, it's like, come on, dude. That shit's relative. We're talking about music here. This isn't fucking NFL football players where we can break it down into stats. And that's when motherfuckers bring up album sales. And that's when I want to knock a motherfucker out. Like, dude,
who gives a shit?
Selling albums does not equate to how good of a musician you are.
What was the last album you bought?
Well, like I said, I do that iTunes thing, so
right.
Forever.
Who fucking knows?
Forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't bought an album in forever. And that's the thing. So going back to that point, like, as a musician, because people are like, don't you think that's a little contradictory? Like, you want people getting your album for free? And I'm like, yes. Because I'm adapting to this new industry, which is you put your music out on the internet for free. Get everyone to listen to it so you can get as many people interested as possible, and then get them to come to your show where you get paid. Get them to buy a t-shirt where you get paid.
Right.
Maybe if you're really fucking good and your band's like actually doing shit, you could even get $2.99 a month on a fan club Patreon account and give them discounts to merch, behind the scenes content, early release to music, B-sides. You figure out something else, and now you're making $2.99 a month off each fan that wants to do that. You get 10,000 people to give you $3 a month. You're making $30,000 a month.
That's right.
Who gives a fuck if I'm being paid off my music streams, bitch?
Let's make some content up.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, it seems like a short-sighted victory when guys do that. We're running
low on content. Let's get the boys together and have some beers.
Yeah, there was a short period of time in the music industry where you made a lot of money off album sales, and then you spent a lot of other money to promote that album, right? Now, your album is your promotion for your tour, for all your other shit. It used to be you used to tour to promote an album. Now, I think you put an album out
to promote a tour
because that's where you're going to make your money. And if you can establish that mindset, I think you're going to be less prone to losing your mind over the fact that you're only getting paid 0.00003 cents per stream. Like, who gives a fuck? Almost nobody started making music for money.
I have 2 EPs and 2 singles from my old band on Spotify, and I've never seen a fucking penny from it.
Do you know how many bands back in the day when the internet first blew up couldn't make it in their own town but blew up in Europe or Japan or somewhere else because they put it out there on the internet? And so they would be making, the band members, not the band members would be making $100,000 a year, $250,000 a year each. Band member was making that by touring the world, and they just weren't famous in their own country.
Dude, isn't there a band like that from around here called like Invidiosis or something? Don't they tour like strictly in like
be surprised.
Mexico and like Europe and
Wouldn't be surprised at all. Because like ATB, as big as they are here, they used to get flown out to like, I'm just going to make up a Sweden. They'd get flown out to Sweden to headline a sold out arena one night, and then get flown back.
That's so tight.
Right? There was a band back in the day.
Dude, I'd do it just for the plane ride, like
for real.
I do it for free.
American Head Charge, when they started to fall off here after 9/11, were still selling out huge tours all over the rest of the world.
That's crazy. Dude, that guy got in trouble for stealing guitars, I heard.
Yeah.
You heard about that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tragic situation. Dude, drugs, man. Fucking drugs, dude. They hit you hard, they kick your fucking ass, and they make you do crazy shit you would never, ever do.
I guess I only saw Head Charge probably once. I
played with Head Charge. When I was...
Your band played with them, or you played in the band?
No, my band...
I know...
So,
they were struggling. People that have played with them in the band. Their bass player.
When they came back, they were struggling to sell out shows. And so 2 different bookers, there was 2 bookers on this show. There was the venue booker and there was the bill booker. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So good, because if the listeners are confused, at least I got one person that knows what I mean.
Right. No, I can think of examples. I won't.
And I got calls from both of them. And they were like, hey, man, I know you just played like 3 weeks ago at our club, but you guys fucking sold like 700 tickets or something like that. which we had never done before. Like we were a 350 to a 500 ticket band, right? Mm-hmm. We sold like 700. And so both bookers called us up, or called me up specifically. And I remember being at work at a collection agency, and I get a call from one guy, and then minutes later I get a call from the other guy.
Like they
and I was like, no fucking okay. I was like, and in fact, my buddy Anwar, who's been on the podcast, he used to be my boss at that collection agency. I tell him, Anwar, I gotta get off the floor. I gotta take these phone calls. And he's like, what the fuck's going on? I was like, it's music related. And he's like, all right. He was really supportive back then and shit. And sure shit, they both offered. No, he is. But I'm saying even back then, he was still very supportive.
Gotcha.
And he both of the bookers offered us that show, and they were like, blah 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 blah, do you want to do this show? And I was like, yeah, dude, we do want to do the show, but like, can we please not open? Right? Because I thought they were going to ask us to open.
Sure.
And they were like, well, I guess we can make that happen. What do you want?
Then they find one more band to play before you?
They were like, what do you want, second? And I was like, yeah, dude, like, we'll take second. And they were like, well, I mean, I guess we could do that. We were going to offer you direct support. And I was like, no, we'll take direct support. We'll take direct support. We'll take direct support. And then, yeah, they laughed just like that. And they were like, here's the thing, though. It's like, we actually need you to play direct support because we need to sell this venue out.
Yeah.
And so we played that show, and it was a fucking first time the Rock had sold out in a while because shit wasn't going well locally in the scene on the business end of things with the,
Sure.
just how things were managed anymore. And a lot of the good bands had broken up. And yeah, so we played with them, and I got to know Chris Emery, and Dave Rogers took me under his wing when I was
who'd you play with again?
That specific show I'm talking about was Dying Euphoria.
Oh, I mean, no, who did you open for?
Head Charge.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. I was like, wait.
And later,
with After the Burial?
Yeah, we played
the day before they flew him out to Sweden?
No, not that show, but we did play with ATB a couple times. I can't remember which bands at which venues because I've also seen them 100 times, and they all start to blur together after a while.
I think the first time I ever saw them was their first show without Justin at the Skyway. And, I feel like a total poser saying that, but I was never really... I was late to the game, even though I'm fucking from Minnesota for the most part. And,
right.
I came up in the scene and everybody's, undying love for After the Burial. And then, I've got
there's a lot of people
late.
Posturing about that. There's a lot of people acting like they were always into the After the Burial.
No, I'll be the first to say, I was the song A Wolf Amongst Ravens. I was like, holy shit, these guys fucking rock,
Sure.
So it wasn't, and then I went back and I found out about Rare Form and, all that good stuff.
Yeah, see, and I discovered ATB because the guys I was in a band with, I was in a band called Solace and Ashes, and the guys I was in a band with, specifically one of them, Pat, the drummer, who went on to become the drummer for Australis, pretty prominent metal band. I think they're signed to Nuclear Blast Europe or Prosthetic Records. I can't remember who they're signed to, but I think they eventually got signed. But anyways, he was really into them with their very first album. It was called Forging a Future Self.
Yep.
It was a full-length album, and it had this singer, true hardcore singer named Nick Wellner on it. You can't even get that album anymore. There's 3 songs available if you go try to find it. It's online. It's an EP now. There's only 3 songs on the EP, and they re-recorded both the guitars, drums, and vocals. It doesn't even sound like the same record
so
anymore.
Tragic. Dude,
it doesn't even sound like the same band.
When you try to find, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. When you're trying to find that OG, the first CD you got of a band, there was this local Christian band, and they're called Write This Down, right? And I saw them play at the Segway Cafe in Osseo back in the day or something.
Yeah.
And anyway, they're handing out these CDs, and I fucking played that CD in my car until it wouldn't work no more. And then by the time I bought the CD again, on the physical copy, it was all redone. The songs totally changed structures, and I was like, wait, it's the same song, but the structure of the song is different. There's different fills, different everything. You drop some of the vocals, like this isn't even the same thing no more,
Right. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. And yeah, it wasn't even the same vibe. And like, and that's the other thing is they also did 3 out of the like 8 or 9 songs that were originally on it. So like 2 of my favorite songs on that album don't exist anymore because they never brought it back. You know what I mean?
Crazy. Can you play like music on this computer and it'll come in the...
Yes, but we got to be careful about what we play because I could get flagged for copyright infringement.
Oh, and then it won't go on the internet.
Yep.
But this is live though.
Correct, but it'll still happen.
Oh.
So here's what I'm going to do. I got to take a leak, and I'm going to play you a preview of this new track. Okay?
Okay.
I think I played it on the last podcast, so for the listeners, I apologize if you heard this last time. I did it the same thing. Copy had to go take a leak. And he's like, I'm sure you'll entertain people. And I was like, yep, but it's not going to be talking this time. And I just hit play.
I saw you just interviewed him. I haven't talked to him for a while.
He's a fucking awesome human being, dude. I've always liked that dude. But just keep in mind, they can't see the screen. That's what they can see is that screen up there. So just keep in mind while I'm going to the bathroom, they can hear you and the music, and they will be watching you. So you can commentate and talk shit about this while I'm gone. You can be like, this part sucks. This sounds like shit. You can totally do it.
I mean,
just
did
shit
you write
all
it?
over it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just shit all over it while I'm gone.
It already sucks.
it's the worst.
Yeah. Did you record this in Ableton or
Ableton? Ableton?
Oh yeah, nice and crackly. Is that the vinyl plugin?
Hold on, they can't hear it. Fuck. Hold on. I fucked that up. I don't think they could hear that. Let's try this again. Yeah, so they're not going to be able to see you. Oh yeah, they will, but it's going to be the main overhead cam. Sorry guys. I'm being an amateur right now. Okay, there we go. Share audio. I'll be right back.
Sounds like something Mark Berry would have wrote. Dude, is this your vocals?
No.
Doesn't sound like your vocals.
No, this is
I want to hear like the instrumental without the vocals. Sounds good though.
Oh, you know what's funny is I don't think they heard any of this. I think I fucked up and didn't put I don't think I routed the music through.
That's fine.
So no, long story short,
I'm not a fan of the vocals yet, but I just think it's maybe the vocals.
It's definitely not
a little
me.
underproduced.
Well, it's here's the thing is it's
the
not
guitar
mixed.
work sounds good.
It's not mixed.
Right.
Like that's just him slapping down vocals over an MP3 I sent him.
Okay, yeah, the instrumentation I think sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and that's what I did.
Right. Good job.
I did the guitars. I wrote all the guitars. I technically wrote the drums, but I demo acoustic drums, so I like get on my kit and I demo them.
And then somebody
but I
else
only have
goes in.
4 mics, right? I only have 4 inputs, so it sounds like shit.
Sure.
So then Dalton is what he does right now is he takes the concepts of what I have and he tries to get as close to it as he can with no, not MIDI replacement, just with straight up sampled drums, programmed drums.
Okay.
Now is what's going to happen here. Pull forward just a touch because you're pulling that thing. You should be good now. Plus you're a little off cam, but is what's really gonna happen. Yeah, but look, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
you're
gotcha.
like falling off. But anyways,
Where's that camera at?
it's the same camera. It's just on a delay.
Gotcha.
It's that one up there. So there's 3. There's that one up there, and then there's my camera right here, and then there's this camera right there. That's your camera.
Gotcha.
But what's eventually going to happen is, and I don't know if we're going to need to do this anymore. So is what we were originally going to do is like, I was going to do the acoustic drums on the 4 mics, and then I'd send them to Dalton. He'd conceptualize them and do what he could program-wise. But we were still going to go back to my acoustic drums, and Wally from Skywind is producing the record, and he was telling me he is going to go through and identify frequencies and do sound replacement. And I've heard some of the work that he's done, and I'm blown away. I'm like, I can't believe that you're able to do that. And he's like, it doesn't even have to sound good when you give it to me. Just make it on beat. Like, and even if you fuck up a little bit, once I sound replace it, I can move an individual kick over every once in a while. So it doesn't even have to be perfect, right? Just make it sound good.
Right.
Or, I mean, he's like, just like make it on time, make it on beat to a click and all that shit. Yeah. So we were going to do all that, but then, and I don't know, fuck, I haven't even heard from him in a month now, but I got this drummer named Al from an old local band called Banehinge.
Sure.
And
I remember Banehinge.
he moved out of state for a while and moved back to he said he's down to do it, and he told me what he needs in order to do it. But my fucking phone deleted the old it like offloads old texts. So he gave me instructions as to like what he needs, and I can't fucking find it. So I've been calling him and texting him like, hey man, hit me up again. Because I think I understand how to do all this now, and now he won't call me back.
What was that? Do you remember when you...
It's like so frustrating.
Do you remember when your old band and my old band, we played a show at Club Underground, right? It was on 420. And
probably.
What was the headlining band called?
Black Flood Diesel?
Black Flood Diesel. Okay, so...
That's Greg Moog. He's been on the podcast a couple
funny
times already.
Thing about Banehinge, right?
Yeah.
Is in my little hometown of like, well, not my hometown, but one of the towns close to my hometown, Blue Earth, Minnesota. There was a VFW back in the day before I was even like old enough to drive. It was Black Flood Diesel, Banehinge,
and Ginger Jake, I bet.
No, and Seeping Head Wounds.
Oh, okay. Never heard of him. Probably a local band from down there.
Yeah, it was Turf before he was in Screaming Mechanical Brain.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, he's from Blue Earth too.
Wow.
Yeah, and
small fucking world.
Right, and I remember, I haven't even thought of Banehinge forever, but I remember that was the bill at the VFW, and I remember walking there from my grandma's house with my cousin. I mean, we didn't even have cars, like. To go see
I wonder which version of Banehinge it was, because there was 2 different versions of that band.
God, it was Banehinge though.
Right, but there was 2 different versions of the band. When I say versions, I mean lineups. There was like when the band first started, it was one lineup.
Sure.
And then I think they switched like 2 or 3 members over time total. So it's not even that much. I think God, I can't even remember. I don't even want to speculate. Jason's probably laughing. Jason, if you're watching this, I apologize, buddy, because he's also been on the podcast.
Dude, I had like this.
Something's telling me, though, Jason wasn't in the original.
I had a flyer from it. It was like this a tiny little, handout flyer that I had. I just had it on like my fridge.
Let me ask you this. When you saw Banehinge, were they good?
Dude, I can't remember.
You can't remember?
No.
But you remember the name, so they must have fucking made an impression on you.
It was like the second show I ever went to, I think, was a Banehinge
But
show.
you remember the name.
I remembered, yeah. Because
you see what I'm saying? Though?
I copped the flyer.
That means they made some sort of impact.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, think about it.
It was cool.
How many times have you been in a band where you tell someone your name, and then they come up a week or 2 later, a month or 2 later, hey, what's your band name again?
Right.
I'm trying to tell my friend about this show, and they want to look it up.
Yeah.
What's your band name again? Right?
Yeah.
Like you were saying, this is like the second show you ever went to. It's a local show, not Metallica.
No.
So it's not Iron Maiden and
Yeah.
it's not Pink Floyd. It's not these megalithic bands from when we were kids. It was a fucking local show. And you remember the bill.
Well, back in the day, you had to remember.
Is what's wild to me is that it was Black Flood Diesel and Banehinge, and 20 years later, you played a show with Black Flood.
I know. That was crazy.
With me.
Yeah, with you. And you're like, hey, I'm putting together this show.
Yeah, you guys probably... Oh, here's what I probably did. If it was Club Underground, here's what I probably did.
You had a free cake.
There was either
night.
3 or 4
We're
bands.
down.
There was either 3 or 4 bands. If it was the free keg show, I remember. It was probably the music video shoot then. Because we shot that Tyrants music video, and that's one of the things we did, was we gave away free beer. Yep. We had a free keg.
My Tierra was the other band.
So there was 4 bands then. So it would have been either you guys or My Tierra or the other way around, and then it would have been us and then Black Flood.
I can't even remember. Yeah, that's what it was. You were direct support for Black Flood.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I booked the show.
Sure.
Of course I'm putting myself...
With Productions, you know?
Well, dude, and it wasn't even like... It wasn't... Here's the thing is like... I talked to Greg about this when I was booking shows. They weren't headlining. We were headlining. They were closing. Because our scene had changed so much. Our industry here had changed so much. So the way you booked bills needed to change. So I no longer booked opener, support, direct support, headliner. It was opener, support, direct support. Sorry. It was opener, direct support, headliner, closer.
Sure.
And there was only 2 bands that were allowed to close, 2 types of bands. Either a real headliner, right? And they were there to close because they were going to draw, right? So even though it was like our bill, we didn't want to go on at midnight. So we had to find a band that drew the same as us, if not more, which there weren't many then.
Oh, yeah.
It was a sad part of our history in this scene. And...
Well, getting a band to do that is another thing.
Or they were basically an opening act. And so, like, I would let them know, like, here's the deal, dude. You guys don't draw. So when we get off stage, everyone's going to be gone. Like, you need to understand that. If you do your job correctly, you're going to draw your own 50 people. Mm-hmm. And maybe you get some layover from people that are still partying and having a good time, but you're not headlining, you're closing. It's basically the same as opening. And when people were cool with that, they would jump on board and they would do the show and everybody was happy. And the only other type of band that ever would get booked in that slot on a bill like that would be a Black Flood Diesel, who's still going to draw their own people. So the place is still going to seem packed when they go on.
Sure.
And that's the only way we were going to do that because...
Hey, dude, I'm not hating. I was just glad to play.
No, and I'm not saying you're hating. I'm saying, like, we had to do things so differently for a while. And I still think even now, I'm not sure if I were to book shows post-COVID that I would look at the final band as a headliner. I'm not even sure that our industry is back to that. I'm not even sure the regular music industry is back to that unless you're fucking Metallica, right? Like, that's a whole nother level. But I'm thinking... Even if you're drawing 500 people, right? That's what it took back in the day when the scene was thriving. If you draw 500 people to see your band, you're a headliner locally, not regionally, not nationally, locally. So you would be able to get 1,000-person venue. You're drawing 500. You're trying to find 3 other bands that can draw 500 total, right? So that's like 150 each. And then you sell out the venue. Boom. Great show. We had 1,000 people there for us as the headliner because that's how it used to work. Well, now I don't think that's the right move to make because people don't stay past midnight. They just don't. And that's when the headliner used to go on. The headliner would go on at midnight and they'd play till 1. And then the bar would close at 2. And it just doesn't happen now. People leave at midnight. So the real headliner needs to go on at 11, which means you have 1 act go on at 10 and 1 act go on at 9. But that means music's done at midnight? That's not going to work. You still got to fill that time. You're not playing 2 hours because you don't want half your crowd leaving halfway through your set. That's the opposite of being a headliner. So you book a closing act. It's that fucking simple. Yeah. That's what you do. And once we got people in on that game plan, we started doing really well.
really well at that venue because everyone else was like, no, 4 bands is too many. We're going to book 3 bands. Then there'd be like 75 people in the room. Right. I was like, no. We're doing 4 bands. This is how we're doing it. And that fucking club loved me, dude. Still to this day, I go in there. I haven't played in that club in years. Still to this day, I go in there and everyone knows me on a first name basis. They still know me on a first name basis. They like me there. I have one beef with one person, and I'm not going to name their name.
I remember like looking around the stage, and on the side of the stage there's like some broken bottles and like old set lists from previous bands that have played there, and I pulled one of the set lists up and it literally had a date on it and it said like 1996. You know, like you haven't cleaned this.
That blows my mind. Yeah, I didn't know they were doing shows there that long ago.
No, dude, yeah.
It's like, in case anybody's confused what we're talking about, Club Underground is like actually it's this tiny little basement in a local tiny bar, but it is one of the coolest. It's like a genuine punk rock club.
Yeah.
In the middle of Minneapolis where you would never think it would be. And it's fucking awesome. It's still to this day one of the coolest rooms, and it only holds about 200 to 250 people tops.
Like, and if it's full, it's
capacity's like 187 or some shit, or 178 or something like that. And believe it or not, the Tyrants, and I believe it's the show that you were talking about with Black Flood.
Yeah.
The Tyrants, we were the first band. That was the first bill that ever sold out.
That sold it out that night?
Yep.
Crazy.
One of those nights. It was one of the 2 nights we did the free beer, because one of those 2 nights is when we sold we shot the music video.
Right.
And I don't think we sold it out on the music video.
Yeah, I don't remember you guys doing a music video the night we played.
Then that's the night we sold out. Because the night we shot the music video, we played the same song twice. We opened our set with it and played our entire set. And then at the end of our set, for shooting reasons, for lighting reasons, we turned all the room lights on, the house lights on, and we literally played the same song again with all the lights on. And then I took the 2 pieces of footage and edited them together in a black and white video. Because that's the way you. If
Were you playing to a click back then?
Nope. That was what was so awesome, is my fucking meter was so badass that, and I had a stationary cam, so. I remember John and Kevin getting really mad that my parts were the only parts that were properly synced with the video. And but here's the thing, if you really watch the music video, I didn't sync the actual parts to the parts in the song.
Right.
So like you see me doing this, and I just found a spot where there was a couple snare hits on time. I'm actually playing a different part of the song, but it's saying it was like, okay, I have footage, and this is a good spot.
But it's only for a couple seconds, so it doesn't matter.
Right, like 1 second.
Yeah.
Like literally, I think nobody appears on camera for more than 1 consecutive second. But then when I would get to John, it was like John is the part John should be shown on video. He's not. They didn't get good camera footage of him in this spot, not from a good angle, right? They were filming something
exactly else. What you're talking about.
So I would just like find spots of John just jamming and looking really charismatic, and then I had to find a spot where even though it didn't sync up, it still worked, and it was like, this'll fit. And then same thing with camera. Kevin's entire camera rig went down. So we were supposed to have a side cam angle. So Kevin would have been right in front, like full focus. And then John would have been out of focus just behind him, but fully lit up. And we set it up this way on purpose because I was going to get some really cool shots out of it. That camera, the battery, the charger fell out. And then the battery never was charged. So the battery died like literally 3 minutes into the set. Not even 3 minutes, like 30 seconds into the set, because we opened with that song. So there was no we only had, I think, 2 cams. There was supposed to be one on me the full time, one on Kevin the full time, and then I think there was 2, so 4. And maybe there was a back of the room one, so maybe there was 5. But it was really hard to actually edit that together. And fucking John, I remember, and Kevin even were a little salty. They're like, why are your parts the only ones synced up? I was like, because I was able to cheat that because I had one cam on me the whole time. So if you look, there's only one part that is synced to the song properly, and it's the fill at the very end where I go diddle 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 cap. Everything else is me cheating and stealing something that looks like I'm playing that part. There's one part where I'm playing, and if you watch it, you see me about to go into a snare roll, and the camera cuts because there's no snare roll there in the music. Dude. So it was like, how do I get one of the, dude? It was fun though.
I literally
it was really
had the
fun.
Same thing happen to me. Actually, we were Common Choir was doing a show with Mushroom Head, right? And I don't know if you familiar with Mushroom Head. They've
of course, yeah.
Fucking water drums.
You know, they're actually tight with the Black Flood boys.
Oh, crazy.
Like Black Flood's, like Greg is personally tight with the Mushroom Head boys.
Yeah.
They've done a song together, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
We were set to open with them, right? And we were like the first band on the main stage. There's a bunch of local bands. It's not like they hand selected us or anything. It's just like we had been playing these shows for a while. We got asked to do it.
Did you get that through Bobby?
Yeah. And
Bobby's the shit. I got to get him on the podcast. I was going to ask you because you know him a little better than I was going to ask you if you could reach out for me because I want to get him on the podcast. He's a sweet fucking dude.
I could ask him. I haven't talked to him for a while, but I could ask him.
I know.
I've never had a problem with. I mean,
and I know he's cool enough to do stuff like this because like he was on Chilton's podcast. I by the way, I watched your fucking Ritual Madness podcast.
No shit.
That's where I was like, dude. I gotta fucking call Dusty. Like not only do I know him, but I'm like, that's my buddy. Like I know that dude personally because Greg's not. I booked Greg. I booked Chilton.
Yeah.
We had to postpone. We're rescheduling. He's not one of the people that flaked out on me. He gave me we booked it and it was like 3 weeks out, and like 4 days later, he's like, dude, I got to reschedule. I was like, no problem, dude.
Yeah.
Actually, that may not be true. He might have rescheduled like the day before, but it still doesn't matter.
Sure.
Like he's like, we got to reschedule. No big deal. But when I booked him, I wanted to catch up on his podcast, and then I realized he's not really doing it anymore. So I was like, okay, what the fuck? And I ran through the list of names, and I saw Common Choir in there, and I was like, no way, that's Dusty's band. I didn't know Dusty was on fucking Ritual Madness. Okay, cool. Yeah. Let me check this out. And I hit play, and it was so fucking funny, dude, because you had that big-ass beard.
Oh, and there's a video of it?
Yeah.
No shit.
Dude, I swear to God, I'm pulling it up.
I got hammed.
I swear to God, dude, I'm pulling it up right now.
Don't pull it up.
Yes, I am. We're doing it.
I miss my beard.
We're doing it. We're pulling it up.
I had to cut it.
And even if there's a glitch in the live stream, I'm still doing it because I want to plug both Greg's podcast and I want to be able to pull the audio out of this too. So.
Oh man. Why did I say something stupid?
No, it was just cool as fuck the way the whole thing came full circle. Like I booked Chilton, right? And then I saw you and your band on Ritual Madness,
right?
Which I'm like, oh fuck, dude, I gotta reach out to Dusty.
Yeah.
And so I book you on the podcast because we've known each other for so long.
Sure.
And then Greg hasn't even been on the podcast yet, you know. And I was supposed to go on Ritual Madness 2 or 3 years ago as part of. I'd like organized. It was actually kind of smart. It was actually pretty cool, and I never did it this time because of COVID. But I had actually booked myself on a bunch of other people's podcasts to promote my podcast.
Sure.
And Greg had actually already been on my podcast, but I hadn't released it yet. I was going to put 8 in the can. And then while I was doing those 8, I went and appeared on a couple other people's podcasts or had things scheduled, right? And I was going to start planting the seed so I didn't just come out of nowhere. Well, I did 2. I did 1. Had Greg's booked. Something again happened. Greg called me and he's like, dude, we got to reschedule. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then I listened to the 8 podcasts and I was like, this isn't going to work. I gotta redo this. And that was 2 years ago and I shut that shit down.
Oh no.
And then it's just so funny how the whole thing comes full circle because he was my first guest on the first version of my podcast. Right? You see what I'm saying? So it's like,
I'm just going to end that. So we were opening for Mushroom Head or whatever. We were shooting a live video, right? And it was for one song out of the 6 or 7 songs we got to play. And I the band as a whole band hired this guy, Eli, who ended up becoming like our #1 video photo guy, like our super homie, who ended up after that day coming with us to all of our shows and shooting for us. He was just like the guy who rode around the van with a fucking camera. But long story short, like there is a bunch of what you were talking about. You know, we were actually playing to a click, but a lot of we kind of messed the song up a bunch because it was a new song that we wanted to shoot a live video for.
Right.
It ended up making it to YouTube, and we got a video out of it, and it's pretty sweet. But we encountered a lot of the problems that you had, you know, with trying to sync it up.
Whoops. Thank God they didn't hear that.
Dude, I gotta pee.
Go for it. I'll see if I can cue this up while you're going to do that. If you just got to piss, you can either use the... Yeah, or you can go upstairs and Kate will show you where it's at. That's cool, though, because that'll give me a second here to cue this up. Oh, shit. Get that fucking out of here. Yeah, just go back towards the steps. Look to your right. It's next to the washer. That's all right. Don't worry about it. It's a paint tray. It minimizes splashback. That's so funny. See, we gotta make more room in this fucking studio. This studio, I'm sure you guys can see this. That little opening right there. Hold on. There we go. This set's a disaster. We got to remodel. I'm only 22 episodes in, and I'm already like, yeah, we got to remodel this set. Yeah, just be careful pushing that thing back because it's sleeved. So when you turn, it'll open it wide open. And then that camera does look right through there. And it just looks like shit. It's not a big deal. It just looks like shit and it's distracting. But I think I got this almost ready to go. Let me switch audio sources here. I temporarily fucked with the frames, but I don't think that's going to come through. All right, we'll go back here. Yeah, for sure. And then can't help you with the third one. All right, so now I'm on Ritual Madness podcast. Okay, so they can see what the fuck I'm looking at. This is our buddy Greg. Now, he actually fucking gets, I think it's like between 20 and 50,000 downloads on iTunes, but the YouTube channel never really picked up. So he's only got 56 subscribers.
We got 57 views, so we got every one of those subscribers to view it.
If
Plus,
if you want to look at it like that. Yeah, this is you guys. Look at little Dusty there on the left, right over here.
I remember wearing like this crazy shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy because him and I talked about, not your episode, but we talked about this podcast, and like, I thought it was audio only, and he's like, nope, I do cams. I got the whole thing set up,
Dude,
blah, 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 blah.
We never were informed we were on camera. So
really?
My gut was probably hanging way out.
You can't tell.
Dude.
You can't
I
tell
remember
anything.
like, I think we played, Common Choir played our first show at, God, I can't even remember where it was, but I posted a picture and like, dude, you got so fat. And I was like, thanks, man. That was like the one comment I got in that picture.
That's so funny. He got so fat. Everybody's gaining weight except me. I can't fucking get bigger to save my life.
Yeah, well, you have superior genetics, my friend.
I don't know if that's true. Because I'm skinny? I don't think that makes me superior. I think it makes me less of a threat in a fight. I think it makes me less attractive to women who are looking for warrior husbands, which I guess now I don't have to worry about now that I'm married. Well, until she leaves me, and then I have to find another wife.
What was
I gotta
that?
find
in Fight
once
Club,
she
the
leaves
skinny
me.
ones fight to the death, right?
That is true. That is definitely true. Fat guys, y'all get tired.
Yeah,
y'all get
we gotta
tired.
take a nap in the middle of the fight. So
Yep.
Yeah, because y'all have a heart attack. You don't fight to the death. You just die during the fight because you're so fat. Fucking heart attacks. It's not true. I'm trying to be funny and my jokes aren't landing.
Dude, I literally went fishing with my cousin on Thursday. And we went to this place where you got to walk through like, I don't know, probably 20 yards of a cornfield, right? Just through the stalks with your pole and your tackle box. And then you got to walk through a trail probably, I don't know, quarter mile.
Dude, can I come fishing sometime?
Yeah, dude.
I got my license, dude. You know what I got to do though is I got to fucking either find or replace my pole.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got one you can use.
Dude, I got a really nice both hard and soft bait rig. And I can fish with live bait. I have all my tackle. I have everything, but I can't seem to find my fishing pole, my good one. And then I had this portable one that like folds down and shit for like a survival bag.
Yeah.
And I busted that out when I went camping last time. That shit doesn't even work anymore, bro.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking work at all. I don't even know what the fuck's going on with it.
We just use like a hook, a couple sinkers, and worms. You know, we just go to.
What do you fish for? Just panfish?
Yeah, anything that'll bite. Well, at this specific spot, it was like when we were kids, it was like.
Do you ever watch fishing videos and TV shows and shit anymore?
I do. But it's just not realistic expectations for someone who doesn't have a boat. You know, I'm just fishing off like land.
So do you ever watch like the YouTube fishing stuff?
Yeah.
Here,
of course.
let me see if I can find this. This is the tip I've been on lately. Like I've been spending like an hour a day watching these videos. Fishing spillways. So this guy, I like this guy a lot. Like he's cool. He's not annoying. And he's not necessarily like this, oh my God, breathtaking fisherman.
What's going on, everybody? Nick from
Oh, this isn't even him. That looks like my buddy Ryan Guanzin. I should take Ryan. I should tag the Guans in this because that looked exactly like him. Do you remember a local band called Quasar?
The name sounds familiar, but I think that was a little before when I busted into the scene.
Hold on, I'm gonna. That's not him. He's not a doctor. It's this guy right here.
I've heard the name Late Night Fights.
Yeah, sure. That's them. They played this show with Adelita's Way.
They actually I ran sound for the. No, I didn't. They played at a venue I used to run sound for shortly after I didn't run sound there.
Yeah, so Late Night Fights. I'm just trying to find a picture of Ryan Guanzin because you'll see it. That's him right there.
Crazy.
It looks exactly like the dude in the fucking. Like, look at this.
Cool website.
I know. This guy's awesome. Every band this dude's been in is like amazing.
Dude, is that Claudio?
Right? No, but top right. That's the dude.
Dude, the drummer though. Is that the
No, that's not fucking Claudio from
Motion City?
Oh, maybe. I thought you were talking from
Claudio
Coheed.
Rivera's?
I don't know.
Check the roster. Is it him?
I don't know.
He was supposed to drum for like I think Brand New or something.
Where would it even be?
I don't know. Does it have band members on there? Probably not. That's too cool. That's too. Anyways,
it's too tacky. But no, the guy in the top right. Look, here's my point.
Yeah,
that's this guy. It looks just like him. It's scary. Look at this.
If I land this fish, it's gonna be a miracle. What's going on?
Dude, I'm telling you, it looks exactly like him.
Dude. Yeah.
They look identical, bro.
Dude, he looks like Dave Grohl, kind of.
I'm telling you, dude.
Fresh Pots.
I'm telling you, that's so fucking funny. All right, no, and this isn't even the right guy. This isn't even the guy I've been talking about. These spillway monsters. But basically, these guys just find these little channels, these spillways and shit, and they're not necessarily the best fishermen, but is what they are really good at is finding spots where fish are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's nice because like you're not sitting there for 2 hours watching a fishing show, listening to this guy talk about how hard it is to catch fish in this lake. You're sitting there for 8 to 12 minutes watching an edited video where he's just banging fish out, just don't, another one, because he's cutting out all the boring shit.
Sure.
And he's like, okay, time to switch to this one. And then boom, oh, we got a hit. And it's, I don't know, dude. I've always loved watching the fishing shit, dude. And now that the YouTubers have figured out, like, oh, if we fucking cut out all that boring shit, like, we can just do this on, dude. And it's entertaining. I would rather watch these YouTube kids fish. There's this other kid. He's I think he's British. Seems English, right? He comes to America and does crazy fishing trips, and he shoots this. And dude, he goes to like the most gorgeous places in our continent, not just the United States, but the whole continent, dude. So he'll go to Canada, he'll go all the way up to Alaska, he'll go to the boundary waters.
Like some river monster shit?
Not even just river monsters, but he goes to beautiful places where he'll set up his GoPro and he'll do a time-lapse photo of, like, they'll do night fishing, right? They'll do night fishing where him and 3 or 4 other cats, they throw out the glow-in-the-dark bobbers. They're not glow in the dark. They have an LED light on them, but they throw them way out there. They're doing like 150-foot casts way out into these giant fucking lakes, and the water's crystal clear. And then they'll do the time lapse video, and so you'll see the sunset, and you'll see their bobbers like moving back and forth because it's time lapse. You'll see the stars moving over the fucking horizon, and then all of a sudden, you see one of the bobbers go down, like gone, and all of a sudden they bring it back to full speed, and dude runs out there, and then fucking dudes are getting out of their tents, and they'll be pulling in fucking carp. Like, that's what the British people are obsessed with. The English dudes, when they come to American fish, they're obsessed with these carp.
Really?
Like, they're boring fish for us to catch, but that's all they care about. They spend thousands of dollars coming to different parts of North America to fish for these carp. It's like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like we're what are we into? Bass,
walleye, northern, muskie,
right? Exactly. Like, sometimes guys will be into like trout fishing for the fly fishing challenge of it all.
Or you'll see people crappie fishing and they have a ginormous like crappie or
Yep. But it's mostly it's in America. If you're an American, the 3 things we really go hunting for, fishing wise, are bass, because they jump and it's spectacular to see a bass leave the water. It's one of the most exhilarating things you'll ever experience.
Dude, Joe Engel is a big bass fisher.
Jingle?
Yeah, do you ever
miss him?
Dude, yeah.
I gotta have Jingle on the podcast.
Check his Instagram out. It's basically just him being a bass fisher.
I gotta have Jingle on the podcast. That's my motherfucker right there.
Yeah.
I've known him for so fucking long. I was talking to Copy about how when Copy first joined with Dead Hands Rising, believe it or not, my very first band, 7 Months of Nothing, rehearsed right next to them. We had a shared wall. Joe Engel's band was next to them on the other side, down the hall from us.
Oh, crazy.
And Joe Engel knocked on our door and heard my band, and he's like, listen, I'm going to Music Tech, and I think you guys are dope, and I need to record a demo. I want to record you guys for my demo, and I'll do it for free.
And you're like, shit.
We were like, done.
Sure you can't give us any money?
Done. No, we were like, done. He's like, I'll give you 1 song for free. We were like, done. And our drummer, Nick, dude's been on the podcast. I love you, Nick. And if this offends you, then this one's your problem, because this is just a fact. Nick couldn't play to a click. He couldn't play to a click. And we didn't know this.
Dude, do you remember Tony Grant?
Yeah.
Dude, that dude, I love Tony Grant. But I think the band that we were in, it was like the first band that he learned how to play to a click in that band. And I remember being the bass player for that band and being like, after we started playing to a click, I just had time to play my bass parts finally, like I wasn't rushed. I was like, oh my God, this is so nice. And Tony at the end of our run was like a really good drummer.
Tony was awesome. Tony and I had a genuine argument during our entire friendship as to who was the better drummer. Do you remember this?
Yeah, it sounds like any argument you would have had with any other drummer, but yes.
But there was something different about this because it even happened in private. Do you remember?
I don't know.
So him and I openly argued with each other who was the better drummer. And I was convinced he was the better drummer. He was convinced I was the better drummer.
Oh, you modest fucks.
Now, here's the thing, is when we got in a room together down at Mark's house,
yep,
you guys asked me. They're like, so we got to ask you. All of you confronted me on this because had been an open thing. They're like, you guys asked me. You're like,
was this here in North?
Yeah. Yep, at Mark's. Yeah. And you guys are like, I remember you going, so you don't actually think Tony's a better drummer than you, right?
I said that?
All of you said it.
Yeah, okay.
Because you guys had clearly had a discussion about this before I got there.
Okay.
And I was like, he's absolutely a better drummer than me. And you were like, I remember all of you like expressing it differently, but the idea was like, regardless of whether you are a better drummer or not, regardless of who's actually the better drummer, like you don't actually believe he's better than you. And I was like, he's absolutely better than me. And then finally, and I don't remember because there was 2 other people in that group. It was you, Mark, Joey, and another dude. And Joey and the other dude were the ones that were like, dude, you're a way better drummer than Tony. And I was like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. I was like, you don't. Because here's the thing is like, Tony did shit I couldn't do. There were certain things where I would watch him play and I was like, this motherfucker's good.
Right.
Like really good. And his biggest compliment he ever gave to me is one of the best compliments I've ever heard to me ever. He came down and ran lights for us at 7th Street Entry. And when we played there, and he said 2 things. He said, you have the best live meter I've ever seen in my entire life, because he had been running lights a lot. And he was like, I swear to God, you would do 4 clicks. Like you would cue up sometimes it's a hi-hat, so yep. He could hear it through the monitors and through the board mix, but the crowd can't really hear it and shit. And he goes, I'd jump on that. And he's like, I would set the lights to that. And that was it. He goes, your meter stayed on that the entire time. He's like, I've never mixed anybody like that
That's a huge
done
compliment.
Lights. And then at the end of the set, he was like, the first thing he started off with is he came running up to the stage and he's like, dude, you're my favorite drummer. I want to play drums like you. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. It was just one of those crazy humbling moments because it was like, no, here's the thing is he was a better drummer than me, but we saw things. And he probably would still say, no, Jared was a way better drummer than me. Because I think is what was really going on is we saw things that the other guy did that we wished we could do.
Sure.
So he's valuing what I was doing on stage more than I was. And I was valuing what he was doing on stage more than he was. Does that make sense?
No, it totally does.
That's what I think was really going on there. We were probably, if somehow you could quantify who's better, we were probably the exact same rating.
Right, just different.
8.8 or whatever, but we had completely different skill sets. Exactly. We were just different. And so we perceived each other as the better drummer, even though we're probably the same drummer as far as actual skills. But yeah, there was where did this start? Because we brought up Tony Grant. We were talking about something else before that. I've only had 2 beers, so I'm not drunk. I'm just spacing out.
I'm out of beer. I should go get some more.
I got a couple beers.
Do you got some?
Do you want a warm pumpkin beer? It's supposed to be served warm.
You have any like cold pumpkin beers?
I do have one.
I will take the.
Here, I'll grab it for you.
All right.
Try to remember what we were talking about 2 seconds ago.
God, we were talking about Jingle.
Yeah, that's what it was, Jingle. We were talking about Jingle and how much I love that motherfucker. I got to try to get him on the podcast.
Do it.
I haven't seen him in so fucking long or talked to him, and he's super tight with Kevin too. So he should be an easy get for me, unless he's just not interested. Like
the crazy thing for me is like, I run into people from Guitar Center that I haven't seen in, since I've worked there 10 years ago. And They still know me by name. I'll run in like, okay, so when I worked at Guitar Center, I didn't have the big gnarly beard. I wasn't a bigger dude like I am now.
You were skinny as fuck, like
I was
me.
skinny as fuck. I wore hipster jeans. I lived in Uptown. I was a total hipster, right?
But you were already bald.
I was already bald.
Throwing you under the bus.
That's fine.
Beep, beep,
I'll just
beep.
take the hat off right now. You can-
Oh, you're still
You
bald.
got a filter for that shine?
Hold on. Go back to it.
Woo.
That actually don't look too bad. The lighting's not too bad.
I just bought this skull shaver. It's
You
great.
look like a weird cross now. Like since you've gained a little weight, because you don't look fat,
No,
but you've gained a little weight. You look like a weird cross between Tim Morton from my old band Dying Euphoria and Eric Kais.
from Etheric.
Yeah, I had him on the podcast too. He was just on a little bit ago.
We were supposed to play with Etheric when they were supposed to do their big comeback.
I think it's etheric.
Yeah.
I think he said because here's the thing is I also called him Eric Keys and it's Kais.
I didn't know.
So
I don't know
basically,
him personally. I've just played in bands.
everything about that dude is mispronounceable. His last name, his band name.
That'll happen,
His dog's name is probably spelled wild.
right?
What were we talking about though?
Tony
We were talking about
Graham,
Jingle.
Jingle.
We were talking about why did we? Because we were talking about fishing.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about. Yeah,
So-
I want to go fishing, dude. And I
Dude,
got my license. I got all my shit together, and I just haven't had time, dude. And I want to go fishing before, like, because right now, basically, for the next 30 days is like prime bass season.
We should go.
Have you ever been fall bass fishing?
No, but I want to.
If done properly, I am telling you, dude, fall bass
Let's go.
fishing
Let's
in
go. Me and you.
Minnesota.
Let's go.
Let's do it, dude.
All right, cool.
Let's plan it up because I got next
got
week.
time.
Next weekend is my birthday.
Really?
Yep,
That's going to put you, what, 42 years old?
36,
Yeah, I'm going to turn 35 next year.
36, 30 fucking 6, man. I'm almost 40. It's depressing. It's not depressing, but it's depressing. But
I think it's
But
great.
it's not.
I thought it was strange.
I thought I'd be a lot farther in life by 36. That's why it's depressing. But I'm a lot farther than everyone else I know.
Do you remember when
which
you
is not depressing.
Do you remember when you worked with Pizzo at the Roof Guys?
I never worked with him.
Oh, you didn't? You worked for the Roof Guys, though.
No.
You worked for a company, I remember, and you had like this Dodge Intrepid or Dodge Stratus. I can't remember, but you had like what do they call, a little giant ladder that you could fit in the back of your car, and you'd go like do estimates for roofs.
Some of that is true. Some of it is not. So
Okay.
I never owned.
That's how I remember.
I never owned a Dodge anything other than a truck, but I did do roofing,
Out of a car,
And it
four-door car.
and it was out of a 4-door car
Do you remember when we got pulled over that one time?
at Guitar Center.
Yeah.
This is a great story. Do you
Not-
want to tell
not-
it?
No. Okay. I'll give you my version of it. I can't remember what exactly.
This is the best part of the
Do you
podcast.
remember
Hold
when
on.
my van started on fire?
Yeah, but hold on. This is the best part of the podcast. We're 2 hours and 12 minutes in, and we're just now getting to the good stuff.
Right.
We're just now getting to the good stuff. So you go ahead and tell this story. So we're on lunch break
At Guitar Center.
at Guitar Center, and we are most definitively driving around smoking pot.
Yes. Like we normally did at Guitar Center.
Back then, when we both smoked pot,
all the time.
right?
Yeah.
You don't really smoke pot at all.
I don't know.
I barely smoke pot at all anymore. I
Right.
still do, but it's not like it was
Right.
back then.
Yeah. I mean, back then it was like,
Wake
Hey,
up,
dude.
smoke.
hey, I got a nug from my neighbor. Do you want to take lunch break at the same time?
No, remember, I was the dude who always had weed.
Oh, okay.
Remember that? That's why
Yeah.
everyone liked hanging out with me for lunch breaks, is because it was like anybody wanted to get high. It was like, see if you can take your break with Jared, because he's definitely
Well, I
going
was
to have
in-
weed and go smoke it.
I remember I was in a band with one of the managers that worked there, so I had to like strategically take break, and he didn't know about it.
Mark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one time well, he doesn't work there anymore, so I can say it now.
Right.
But I fucking blasted a oney like right in front of me. He's like, "What the fuck?" And I was just like, "Hey, dude,
Dude,
chill."
Kevin did the same thing to me because, like, he took that job.
Kevin was even
he took that job super seriously.
Yeah, he did.
And one time we were punched out off the clock, and I busted out my pinchy and a bag of weed, and I packed it. And Kevin looked at me and he goes, "Do not fucking hit that in this parking lot, especially while I'm in this car."
And knowing
I'm
you,
like-
you're like, I'm going to do it just because you told me not to.
No, and back then I'm like, "But you smoke weed," and he's like, "Not here, I don't." And I was like, "Okay, Jesus fucking Christ, fine, get out of my car." Like, that's how I responded, because it was like, dude, I'm off the clock. Like, fuck you. I don't give a fuck.
So I
I'm
remember
smoking a little weed right
I
now.
remember us. I think at the
Oh, yeah, back
time
to the story.
I didn't have a vehicle, or my van had started on fire, and I caught a bus to work. And
That's what it was. Is your van had caught on fire?
And I was catching a ride home with you, or something.
Well,
Or we were on break, and you were
sometimes I would drive you home, but we just decided to take lunch because you were pissed
And I
off.
think-
Your van had burned down.
Yeah.
You were fucking having a bad day, and you were like, "Dude, what are you doing for lunch?" And I was like, "Honestly, today I'm just gonna drive around and smoke pot." And you were like, "Dude, can I come?" And I was like, "Absolutely."
And I remember the reason why we got pulled over is not for any traffic violation or anything. The
Correct.
cop literally saw us air drumming
Correct.
or air guitaring
Correct.
in the car.
Correct.
And I
At
remember
a stoplight.
at a stoplight, and we were air.
Like you
Doing
were air guitaring and headbanging. I was playing air drums on the steering wheel, fucking doing drum rolls in the whole 9 yards, and we were jamming out. And we were sitting at a red light, and
by the library in
and a
Edina.
cop drove by in front of us, parallel to us, or perpendicular to us. And I remember him driving by
and look,
and like going, like he was like driving by and turned, like it was so. And I just remember seeing that.
I remember you saying we were driving by Target, and you're like, "We're gonna get pulled over."
Yep.
And I was like, "Just get back to work, dude.
Yep.
We're gonna be fine."
And I was like, "Yeah, but put everything away, roll down the windows now."
Dude, you grabbed that axe can so fast.
Fuck yeah, I did, dude. And that cop pulled us over in Guitar Center parking
At
lot
our work parking lot.
and asked us what we were doing. And we told
We're
him.
just rocking out.
We said we went out for lunch on break. We work here at Guitar Center. We had our Guitar Center uniforms and name tags. And we were like, we went out for break for lunch, and we were just on our way back jamming out. And he was like, "Yeah, that's technically illegal." And it was like, dude, we're at a stoplight. Like, you're not going to be able to actually. He knew, but we also knew that we were high and we had weed in the car. So we were just like, "Okay, yep, sorry." Excuse me. Let us off with a warning. All
Best
that
day
white
ever.
privilege
I know.
in Edina. Oh, man.
And then I think you gave me a ride home that night, and you got cut off by a lady.
This is the best. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I know.
I knew we weren't going to be able to avoid this story. I knew this story was coming up.
I thought about it coming in, and I was just like, man, I don't know. Can I say the C word? Or
It's the internet. We can say whatever we want.
all right, cool, fair enough. Okay, so we're driving down France, going back to what is it? 494 to go back to Uptown, and there's all kinds of road construction on France Avenue.
The congestion was insane.
It was.
It was the craziest level of congestion
and we were
you
in a
can
turn
imagine.
lane trying to get. There was a bunch of cones, and we're trying to get into the main inside lane on 100. I remember,
Yeah,
and
and we had to
weren't
take
zipper merging.
right, and we had to take a right, and then it was literally the very next left that we had to take. So it was like, okay,
Get in the lane and
When
then turn
can-
on your blinker and get over.
yep, and it was like, when can we do this? And I tried to get to the left.
We sat there forever.
I tried to get to the left, and this woman rolled up, a total Karen.
Her
See,
name probably was Karen.
And here's the thing: is now we can call her a Karen. There's a word for this. Back then there wasn't, right? So she pulls up next to us and just starts screaming through her passenger side into my. So she's to my left as I'm driving. She's to my left. And Dusty and I had just taken the right, and we hadn't even gotten into the left lane yet. At all.
No.
Like, we were still in the right lane. And she fucking pulls up next to us and starts screaming at the top of her lungs that we tried to cut her off last minute and we had all of this time. She goes, "We've been here for blocks and you could have merged back then, but you waited until the last minute to try to merge in front of me." And that's what it was, is I tried to merge and she sped up and like I came back over and then she just lost it on us. And I was trying patiently, if you remember correctly.
I do.
I was trying
You kept her
patiently.
cool for about as long as I would.
I patiently tried to explain to her, I just
But she
took the
wouldn't-
right.
She wouldn't listen.
Yeah, I was like, listen, no, we just took that right turn. Like, I don't know what you're talking about for blocks. I've been on this street for 30 feet.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why you're upset with me. And she wouldn't shut the fuck up. She kept screaming at the top of her lungs. She started saying some horrendous shit. And I don't even remember what it was because she went so far with the words she said. I saw red. And I'll let you finish the story.
Dude. And
It's
you
funnier
just,
when you tell
you
it.
literally just like went on repeat, kind of like when a computer freezes. You're like, "You're a cunt, you're 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 a cunt."
Well,
you're
it
a cunt,
started
you're
off,
a
I
cunt."
just called her a cunt once. I was
Yeah.
like, "You're a cunt."
and then she just
it made it worse.
yeah, and she said the same thing she had literally said like 4 times, and you literally just like repeated yourself. You were literally, I was like, "Man, get back in the car. You were hanging out of your window."
I did. I leaned
Yeah.
out because I wasn't willing to yell.
Yeah.
So I leaned out
Yeah.
so I could say it calmly and
Calmly,
quietly.
yeah.
You're a cunt. You're a cunt.
Yeah.
You're a
It
cunt.
wasn't like
You're a
you
cunt.
rolled down your window and just screamed at her. You
I
just
never raised my voice to her.
No, you didn't. That's why I remember it. Because
So
I hear people call people cunts all the time and they scream it. But the way you did it, you rolled down your window, you put half of your body out of your window. I think you actually put your car in park.
because we were stuck.
Yeah. And you just, she
No,
heard,
you're right. Because remember when the traffic let up, I was in park and she burned rubber and sped off, dude. She was so mad because I don't know what she was trying to accomplish. But like, I went into full on syntax error. Like, I have no idea.
404.
I have no idea what to say or do right now. And she had said some horrible shit to us. And I just remember going, "You're a cunt." And she was like, "What the fuck did you just say to me, you piece of shit?" Like some crazy response like that. And it was like, "Bitch, everything you've said is way worse than me calling you a cunt right now."
Yeah.
But I saw that it pissed her off. And so I just kept saying it. And I would wait. It started off like,
You were almost waiting for her to say something. And then when she said something, you say,
"You're a cunt." Yep.
You're a cunt.
That's exactly what. And then the more she got loud and the more obnoxious she got, the faster I started repeating it. So eventually, you're 100% correct. I was like, "You're a cunt. You're a cunt. You're a cunt. You're a cunt." At this level, at this volume, in
Dude, I
this
thought
tone,
she was gonna, like,
you're a
take
cunt.
off
You're a
and-
cunt. You're a cunt.
Take off and hit the car in front of her.
Dude, so did I, dude.
It was so bad.
It was so funny though, dude. We
That's
laughed about
that's
that
my
shit all
Jared
the way
Singer
home.
fucking extravaganza story right
Oh
there.
my god, dude, that was
In the
what-
real life.
And now we call those people Karens because I would have just been able to go, "Okay, Karen. Okay, Karen. Okay, Karen."
I really enjoy the OK Boomer thing.
that one's great.
That is great.
That one makes me laugh.
It especially makes me happy when you call someone a boomer that's not actually a boomer, but they're
Right.
just on the cusp of.
They're acting like a boomer.
Yeah.
No, Kevin and I were just talking about that last night again. Like, that one gets me every time. Like, okay, boomer, because it's almost always used by a teenager who's right. That's my favorite part. When I see it online and I see someone go, "Okay, boomer," and I click it, it's like some 17-year-old kid who just owned some 56-year-old man on a Trump post or a Biden post or something. You know what I mean? Like, Kevin and I were talking about this a month ago. We just talked about it again last night, dude. The Zoomers, that's what that generation is. The Zoomers, they might be our only salvation, dude, because they're fucking funny, they're smart, and they were raised on the internet, so they see through all the bullshit that pisses us off. All the communism, socialism, fascism, Trump, Biden, Clinton, all of that shit that rages us out. My little brother's generation sits back and laughs at all of us because they
don't know any better.
No, they know completely all of the games. They were raised on it, right? It's like you and I being raised on fucking regular news. So then when cable news came out, we were like, are you fucking kidding? Like, how does our fucking parents' generation get duped by this? This is hilarious. Like, really? This doesn't make any sense.
No.
Like, it's so obviously all bullshit, right?
Yeah.
That's their internet. Or that's their cable news, is the internet. So all of this shit that we fall prey to, my little brother's generation, they like laugh at us. They're like, you guys don't actually believe any of that, right? And I'm like, I don't, but a lot of people do, on either side of the fence,
Sure.
like, and he's like, yeah, dude, because that shit started on 4chan, dude. Like, these kids they know where these things, they're so smart, dude. They're adept to it. It's a completely different world they grew up in. But yeah, I would have loved to call that bitch a Karen. Because now we have a word for it.
I wonder what she's up to nowadays.
You know what she's probably doing is calling cops on black people.
Smoking a couple misties.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she's probably made a few phone calls post George Floyd. There's black people in my neighborhood. I think they're starting a protest. That's what that woman's doing right now. Or she's out there still trying to regulate traffic on France Avenue. Fucking
I
bitch.
hope she is.
That fucking bitch.
Yeah. She's probably like, good riddance. They're not a Guitar Center here anymore.
That's one of those bitches where it's like, she makes her husband miserable. Her kids hate her. Nobody can stand working with her. Her friends fucking pretend to like her because she's from Edina and they're rich and they all go and get brunch together. That bitch. The reason she's a bitch and the reason she's a cunt or a Karen or whatever adjective you want to use is because she knows everyone hates her and she's hollow inside. And it's this negative feedback loop that never ends for a woman like that. And we know dudes like that too.
Sure.
I mean, fuck. Luckily, we didn't work with any at Guitar Center. That's what I miss the most about GC is the people.
Yeah.
I might go back to GC if I ever wanted the discount and I just needed some fucking part-time work. There's a couple of people I'd still work for, like Phil Mall. He's over at Roseville now.
Yep.
He's an awesome dude. I would work for him, but there's very few people left at Guitar Center that I'd be willing to work for.
There's a very few people at Guitar Center.
And I'd only do it because I need the discount or want the discount.
I
Gonna
guess
go buy
I have
$3,000
most
of cables.
The gear that I need, cables.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Cables, the shit that costs a lot that costs is nothing, but the way they mark it up sucks.
Right. Well, what do you think, man? We're getting fucking 2.5 hours. You want to wrap this up?
Sure.
All right, dude. Are you trying to throw out for people to follow you on social and shit, just in case you get your project up and running? Or
no, just follow this podcast, man.
Thanks,
if I
dude.
do have more, I will come back on and just let people know. But right now,
Awesome.
It's totally secret shit right now.
Okay.
I don't want to say too much about what I'm up to because it's not ready yet.
You want to plug any of your old shit?
Yeah, Common Choir. I don't play for them anymore, but they're still cool dudes. Still out there doing it. Still good.
Spelled exactly like it sounds.
Yep.
Common Choir.
Yep. Common Choir.
Is that? Do they have their own website? So commonchoir.com.
They do. Commonchoir.com.
Good. That's where it's at.
Everything is /Common Choir. I'm pretty sure they had that all secured before we even came up with the name. The singer, when we formed the band, I had already saved that because he liked it. And he went through every platform and saved it, a long time ago.
Smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had 3 different names we could pick from when we started the band, and that was the one we went with. He had all 3 locked and everything.
Sick.
If you think of something, save it, or see if it's somebody else is using it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, thanks for doing this, dude. I really appreciate you coming down, man.
Dude, no problem.
It was a great way to catch up.
Yeah.
Spend some quality
I'm glad
time.
let's go fishing.
For real. We need to go fishing.
Dude, your birthday.
We need to go fishing.
Let's do it.
Yeah, if you guys like this. Oh, and by the way, thanks for doing the first live stream that we've done. This is the first podcast we've done where we've actually gone live.
Oh, cool.
Direct to YouTube.
Yeah, is this on YouTube or Facebook or
It's
everything?
direct to YouTube, and then is very soon here within the next couple weeks. I'm going to be pulling the audio from all my podcasts and launching that on iTunes, Spotify. And actually, once I get my website finished, I will be able to put the video version on Spotify as well. But I have to host it through my website first. Unlike YouTube, I can direct upload to YouTube. Spotify does an RSS feed, which means I have to source it from somewhere else.
Are you playing fantasy football this year?
Yeah. I got 2 teams.
Ah. Are they PPR leagues?
Nope, neither one of them.
Right on.
But anyways, what I was saying is thank you for being a part of the first live one.
Yeah,
That's
have
what I
me
was
back
getting at.
mid-season football, and we'll talk shit.
Okay.
Maybe
let's
after
do it,
the
man.
next Vikings Pack game, go Pack go.
You know what we might do?
Oh, we should go live for us watching.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I
a
was
Thursday
suggesting.
game.
And I've been working out how to set that up and get that up and running, and I think I have it ready. So I'm gonna start doing like watch parties where
That'd be
me and 2 or 3 other dudes are sitting down here eating pizza, drinking beers, and watching the football game. And it's exactly here. It'll be on this TV, and then I got the thing where the graphic will be up at the bottom of the screen, so guys can sync it up.
Sure.
So they'll know exactly where we're at and what game we're watching, and it's just the visual graphics. So like, the score, the down, the time in the quarter. And I'm pretty sure I got that ready.
Nice.
So yeah, we should do that for the Packers game.
Or just any game in general.
But the Packers game would be the
That
the
would be
best
the
because
best,
you're a
yeah.
Packers fan, I'm
Yeah.
a Vikings fan.
Yeah, it would be
the
great.
best. That'd be the best. And like you said, if it's a Thursday night game, man, that'd be fucking cool.
Right.
Because then we're not trying to get sloshed and fucking get all weird on a fucking noon Sunday game. You know what I mean? That shit's no fun. Your fucking
I
whole
don't give a
day's
shit if
ruined.
it's a Thursday.
Your whole day's ruined if you're getting drunk at noon on a Sunday. You're sleeping by 6:30. You're fucking hungover.
I wake
all
up and I'm
Monday.
like, what the
But
why did this guy not give me more points?
But Thursday night, it's a lot better because like you can like order pizza, have a few beers, and like get a good buzz on and feel like you had a great time. Whereas like Sunday, it's fucking weird. Like, oh, it's noon, let's crack a beer. It's like I'm not fucking ready to drink at noon. I used to do that. I used to tailgate. I used to start drinking at 10 a.m. on football Sundays because I owned season tickets and we tailgated every Sunday.
I do
and
that
dude,
anyway. At
I would
home.
fucking pass out at 6:30 at night. Just like I'd get home, take all my fucking gear off because it's winter games and shit. I'd fucking face plant on the bed and wake up at like 4:30 in the morning feeling like shit, having to go to work. It was horrible. I ain't doing that shit anymore. So if we're gonna do the watch parties, I think it's gonna be like the Thursday night football
Let's do it.
or even a Sunday night game. So yeah, let's do the Packer one. And then I hope you guys enjoyed the first live podcast. We've never done this before. Hopefully it went well.
Me too.
If you guys like it, share, like, subscribe, comment, all that good shit. You can follow me at Jared Singer Live, and that's on all the platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Everything's just Jared Singer Live. Yeah, and hit the bell on the subscribe button so you know when the next one's coming up.
Yeah, buddy.
Thanks, bud. This was fun, man.
Thank you.
All right, brother. See you guys later.